Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Low Fuel Motorsport. My name is Olaf, aka Bob's Racing, and I'll be your commentator for tonight as we head on to our final rounds in the final series to finish here at Season 20. And I cannot be more excited to show you guys what all the results and the standings are for the series. First up, we have the Porsche Cup at the Nordschleife, and after that we have a 90-minute race for the Pro Series at Monza, the Temple of Speed, to finish it off with a 1.5-hour race for the drivers to absolutely smash their final races of the season. First off, of course, we have the Porsche Cup and the results from last week. Get them right on board for you. Last week out, they were, if I'm not mistaken, I have not have this open. There you go. Now I should have it open. There we have it. The Porsche Cup at Monza. We have Fry out in first, and Florence in second, Wasner in third, Girard in fourth, Kren in fifth. Excuse me, this is not Monza. This is Imola, the other Italian track. Apologies. I get them mixed up every now and then. So these were the results from the Porsche Cup series from last week out. And with these standings, you might notice that Carrera is not up there with the points positions. And that means only one thing. I'm going to look at that in the standings, because I did just get a message that the standings are already done, or at least not the standings, but the win is already there, and it is Grantas Caracas in first place with 12,520 points to gain the victory in the Porsche Cup series. That means that he won't be racing today, if I'm not mistaken. So he should be out of the event today, as the rest of the standings scroll right on through. So Caracas has gotten the victory on the Porsche Cup series, and we are getting ready to head on to Porsche Cup. That is not the right one. I should probably check. Let's see where that is. There we have it. Split number one. Should be able to get right in there. I am not getting in there. That is a problem. That is a slight problem. We'll check that in just a second. That is quite interesting. Apologies for the delay. I seem to be not getting into the server, which is a small issue. Have I just typed in the wrong thing? That's also a very real problem. Well, there it is. there is only one way to type the password, and I apparently misclicked it on quite a few keys. All right, so we are getting ready to go into the qualifying session of the Porsche Cup. Before we head on to our Pro Series, we do have some things to settle here and there. So, first of all, the Porsche Cup. This last race is not going to be for the victory. It's going to be just for funsies. We're gonna have a real just for fun race out here today at the Nordschleife. Qualifying has started already, and we should be going to the live right about now. And there we have it. Dario Shins on the track now. No one has set a lap time yet, because this track is ginormously big. You only have 12 minutes, which means that you have your out lap and then a timed lap. So you have to make this work. And I believe there's one car out in first, quite far up. That might be Biggest. Currently P14. Who's the first out on track, but we should be able to go on board with Shins for a few of these corners and at least see what is going on. So you get one lap, and that's it. Afterwards, you can't go out anymore, because this track is so long that there's no way for you to get back into the pits with a second lap. Well, there might be, actually. I'm just kidding. There might be 2 laps of qualifying. because the lap takes about 8 minutes and a little bit thereabouts, and they still have 9 minutes. That means they can actually do 2 laps of qualifying. It's just that the majority of them will probably only do the 1. And then we have final standings solidified. We should be able to see that after the session ends. As Shins drives up to the North Loop now. This is going to be one hell of a fight. Going up and down the hill. Some drivers already retiring and back to the pits, which means that they can only do 1 lap because the out lap's a little bit longer. Longer than expected. So you don't have to do the full out lap on the North Loop. You don't have to. That's a little bit too much for an 8-minute out lap. You can get the tires up to temperature for sure, but you'll need to take a lot of fuel and you wear the tires out quite quickly. So what you do for the out lap is you go out, you take the normal GP track, and in the final corner where you're supposed to turn left onto the North Loop, where we just watched Shins go on, you take a little right-hander onto the normal circuit and get back onto the right-hand side of the track and start your lap that way. So a few things to note is that Wasner just caused a yellow flag and has gone back to the pits. Wasner currently sat in 7th place, is still in contention for a top 5 finish. The top 3 is slightly out of reach, but everything below that is still... So 4th place is still available for Wasner, who's going to go out on a lap now. We might actually see Wasner do that on the out lap. We'll check in with him as soon as he passes the final section. Maybe we'll do the entire onboard lap with Wasner, because he will be the first to finish his finish under the checkered flag, or at least one of the first few drivers to finish under the checkered flag conditions, as we get to explore the green hill and get to explore everything around this track. And I don't want to swap between drivers too much because everyone will be driving the same sections right after one another. And I might skip a few sections of the track, and it's just so beautiful to look at. It's absolutely crazy. Even the onboard is like, I think this is the best camera angle that we can provide for you on the broadcast. I think this is absolutely amazing. Just looking at what the drivers see. Of course, it's a little bit further to the side, but look at the steering wheel and look at how much these drivers have to fight through some of these corners. These ones are pretty fast, pretty flat out. And as soon as we reach some of these slower corners that we're coming up here on the right left-hander here, you can see how much they have to fight that steering wheel to keep the car pointed in the right direction and not get that massive snap of oversteer or maybe even overcorrected. See that? Quite little. One more left-hander here. Similar slower section. A little bit faster than the previous one. And there you have it again. Small bit of oversteer. And that's how the drivers like it. They like it a little bit snappy. That's what we've seen with a lot of these fast drivers. And the problem here is that Shins has a car right behind him. He has another driver on the track that is looking to gain a small bit of advantage of the slipstream, and that is Kren. That is Kren trying to make his way through and maybe get a bit of slipstream. And the problem here for Kren is that he does not have the gap in front. So realistically, it is up to Kren to now gain a gap in front of him to not impede Shins at all. So that means that Kren is basically stuck behind Shins and has to do whatever lap time Shins does on this lap. Either that, or at the start of the next lap, he's going to have to back out to create a gap big enough for him to actually get that run and be able to do your lap. And you'd think this wouldn't be a problem on a 21-kilometer long track, but it is. Apparently, it very much is, as Kren is now catching Shins, who's had a little bit of a deep moment there in the right-hander onto the carousel. And this might actually be a problem for Kren. He is so close now. He's taking these corners so much faster. There it is. Out and done. He's going to go back to the pits and he's going to try again. He's going to follow Shins. I forgot about Wasner, who's going back to the pits again. Might have had a little mess up once more. Is going out now. But Kren, following Shins through, knows that he's got no foot to stand on. Because it is fully Shins' line and his lap. He shouldn't be able to... He shouldn't need to back out in order to give the room to Kren. So now Shins is completely free. There's one more car behind him. Let's see who that is. That will be... Let's see. That's Lenz, who's right behind him in the number 6 car. And he's following him through quite closely, but there is still a little bit of a gap between the two drivers, so he should be able to get out of the way. Let's look at the onboard for Lenz. And there we have him. Ooh, a little bit wide there over the curbs. So there's still a significant amount of room here for Lenz to be able to make this all work. Currently sat in 8th place. Also close to Wasner and still in the fight for a top 5 finish. But it's going to be very, very tight. If you're looking at the standings, I'm wondering, but Olaf, why does Carrera have the victory already when Fry is only 500 points behind him? That's a good question. That's the one that I asked myself and the team right before the broadcast, actually. And it's all due to drop rounds. So drop rounds mean that if you have a round missed or a round where you score so bad that you'd rather not really... Here's the line, by the way. Wasner going on to the loop. I'll follow his onboard for the rest of the lap. If you have a round that's so bad that you'd rather forget it, or if you get shunted, or if you have technical issues, or any reason to get lower amount of points than you would normally get based on your own actions, you will get 2 drop rounds in these series. That means that you only have to race 10 out of the 12 weeks, but you have to perform your absolute best for 10 of the 12 weeks. Caracas has done 10 absolutely phenomenal weeks. He's had a 6-race win streak in the middle of the season, and he's done an absolute banger of a final stint with 7 wins total out of the 10 events he's raced. That means that whatever he does next cannot be that much better. He can't gain any more points. He's gone 10 weeks on the board with almost the maximum amount of points, 7 victories, only 3 races where he's taken a podium spot or just slightly below. That means that Caracas can only improve by the margin that he has above those spots. And that margin is very, very small. The other drivers behind him have basically also done sort of similarly. They've also done races where they have that small margin to gain, but nothing more than what the gap is to Caracas in first. So that means that Caracas can't improve the gap any further, what he thinks, and that the drivers behind also can't improve to even get to this gap that they have right now. So down from 4th, Kren does not have a DNF on the board. He can't gain the full 1400 points if he wins this. Same goes for Fry and Florence, who all have pretty good races on the board. So I believe that this is going to be the final standings. That is from what I've heard and what I've seen. I have not personally calculated this, but these are the words that I've been given from the broadcasting team. Which means that we have a final winner for the Porsche Cup, and it is Grantas Caracas. Now the first lap times are on the board. We have some from Shins was the first one over the line with an 8-minute 27.3. Currently, the pole position is in the hands of Zohan Fit in first place, of course, with an 8-minute 21.472. You might think 5 seconds, that's quite a 6 seconds is quite a while, quite a bit for a lap. Remember, this is an 8-minute lap, so that means that other tracks are only I would think like an eighth or a seventh of the length. So this gap is basically within a second if we count for normal laps. So the wait time here is about 12 minutes, and that means that everyone who crossed the line just now will get another lap on the board, or will get the chance to do another lap on the board. Fit hasn't done so, Door hasn't done so, and Lenz, our top three, are in the pits. Same goes for Was and Slade in 7th and 8th. Schmiegel, Shins, and Modica are still on a run. Ratachik as well, Malman in 10th as well. And Kren has shown to have finished, as Hoda puts in a lap time good enough for 7th place. And Wasner doesn't have a delta to look at just now, so he will have to do this pretty much on his own. These other guys do have some sort of delta to be able to do something. Fry currently in second place, has finished this qualifying in 22nd. As you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, the leaderboard shows him in 22nd. With Klimov, I believe, still on a lap. The number 8 car should be on the back straight now. We can check in with him to go through his final corners and see where he is going to put his car. If this is going to be anywhere close to what he wants to be. Currently 23rd. And that is 6th place with an 8-minute 28. That's always very nice to see. The number 10 car is going to be crossing the line now. That's Kiss in the number 10 car. Crossing the line, and that will be 9th place with an 8-minute 35. Next over the line will be the number 1 car of Sasha Wasner. As he just went through those sections that we went on board with Shins. Now we're going to go to the carousel. And this time around, we have no interruptions whatsoever. No cars close, as you can see on the minimap on the right-hand side of your screen. You see everyone clumped up in the first half of the North Loop. And they might actually impede each other just a tiny bit. At least it has gone that way for Kren, who has taken the checkered flag and is in the pits and should not be able... He's not in the pits, actually. He is on the track. But he's on the GP loop, which means that he can't do anything right now. Perez up to 11th place. That's going to drop Fry down another spot to 24th. And Perez putting in a time of 8-minute 38. And these are also some bigger margins that we will see. So yes, the 22 seconds is a big margin to 14th place to Moman from Fit in first place. That is a big margin, even if we account for the large lap time that we have here on the Nordschleife. And that's mostly because there's so many corners where you can mess up, where Wasner almost messed up here. There's just so many mistakes to make. There's so many places you can win time on a next lap. And that's what getting this perfect lap time down, it's going to be so difficult to do. That's where you get some slides here and there. You can see Wasner struggling with the wheel too. As we go through final stages of the cornering. And after that we get one long straight with one final braking zone. And a few S's to top it all off. As we see a yellow flag. That's the number 17 car. He's going to go back to the pit. That is Matthias Paul in 25th. So he's out of the qualifying. Which means that this is all in the hands of the drivers from 15th to 23rd. With the exception of Kren in 15th and Biggers in 21st. And Wasner to this faster part of the track. He's got a few more braking zones to go, but a lot of time still. That's the second carousel taken. Oh, shoved out a little bit wide on the exit there. Very suboptimal. But he's one braking zone away from the finish line. And look at him wiggle that wheel. That is amazing work to keep it just barely within the lines. And Wasner on full throttle now. On his way to the checkered flag. And to the end of this qualifying session. It's going to be a look towards the standings. He'll probably have some sort of calculation ready. That's what I do if I was a driver. Get the calculation ready for when you cross one of the markers and think, if I add just 30 seconds to this lap time, that's going to be the time. Because there's so little to mess up here in this final bit. So you know thereabouts where you're going to be. And there's the braking zone. A lot of bumps there on the inside of the track. Will he get pole position or will he even get close? Is the question. And Sasha Wasner in the number 1 car. Crossing the line and moving up. And that's pole position. That's an 8-minute 20.9. Only half a second away from Fit in first place. Next car up, we have Dario Shins. Once again, behind him, the number 12 car. That's the car of Schmiegold. Right ahead of him in the standings. Behind that, the number 4 car in the hands of Rainman. doesn't have a lap time on the board, will need one to be able to drop in the standing. Same goes for Garcia, has a lap time but invalid. And I believe the number 12 car just crossed the line. Schmigelt has gone into the pits. So no defense, and Shins is on the offense, but there's no space to attack anymore. Besides the final braking zone. There's no spot for him to gain a massive amount of time. If you look at the minimap, we can see the number 3 car of Kren still doing a lap, still getting the Porsche warmed up. And Shins is on a very good run here. Should be good enough for 5th, not anything more. But the Delta does say that he will get that position once he crosses the line from 6th place up to 5th, and Schmigelt not able to improve. Next up we have the number 4 car, that is Rainman on the back straight. He is followed by Garcia in the number 14. Behind them we have the number 21, Ratachik, in 14th at the moment. And then finally the number 20 car of Sven Kunas in 23rd. Final car to cross the line. But for now, Rainman with a lap on the board of an 8:35 moves up to an 8:30 and all the way up to 8th. So that first lap was invalid, meaning that this is the first lap that he counted. Garcia up to 11th place with a very good lap. That's a 8-minute 35. Ratachik goes to an 8:36 to 13th place. And now we have the number 20 car of Sven Kunas over the line. And that is an 8-minute 35.8, and that is the final car over the line. The only car that is currently driving now is Leon Kren. The driver with bad luck behind Shins did not have the space, made a mistake, had to back out, and now with not enough time, he's just doing an exploration lap for the next 4 minutes, and we'll have to wait for him to be able to start the formation lap even, or to start the ready check for the race. So your pole sitter is Sasha Wasner in first place, the number 1 car, doing an amazing job, as we do have the session ending shortly by I think that's the that might be the admins, race control, looking up from the sidelines and thinking, yeah, Leon, that's enough. Please let us start this formation lap. Your pole sitter here, Sasha Wasner, will be taking it away. This is going to be a formation straight. That's how it is at the Nordschleife. You go on to this straight and on to the final S's, that final braking zone, and then on to the GP track. "30 minutes, that means we will see 4 full racing laps on this track. 8.5 minutes times 4, that should be just about 35 minutes, just below, about 34 minutes. That means that we will have a good amount of racing here. And it is very difficult to overtake in some sections, so I'm very curious to see what the racing will be, because there is so much track to go on. So many places you can accidentally send it just a little bit too far. But also so many places where you can just get a cheeky little look on the inside. Put your nose into places where people might think it doesn't belong, but it does anyway. Pole position here for Sasha Wasner in first place. It's going to be leading the pack on to the first out of 4 laps on the Nordschleife. Fit is handed the 2nd place after putting down the first timed lap. That was good enough for pole position in the first round of laps. Daniel Doer in 3rd place, the number 5 car. The CRT will be getting the 3rd place on the 2nd row, right next to Jason Lenz with the number 6 car in P4. Shins manages to put it on P5. And right next to him, Schmigelt, who got that position taken away from him on that final lap, unable to counter anything that the number 9 car did to him. Klimov in the number 8 car right behind him in the Aston Martin colors in the Porsche. Rainman in 8th place. closely followed by Modica, still one of the top 10 drivers in the Porsche Cup Series by PTT Racing. Hodap in 10th place, rounding out the top 10. Then we have Garcia on the 6th row with Kiss right alongside him. And that is the top half of the grid. Then we have Svingunas in 13th place. Ratacic with a good improvement puts up to 14th place. Vas is handed a 15th place. And he's got a lone spot to his right that should be filled up in just a second, because Slade is right behind him and has gained that spot for free already. Malman in 17th with what I would call a banker lap on the board. And after him, we have the drivers that did not set a lap time. That is Leon Kren in 18th place. Alexander Wright in 19th place. Sinar in 20th. We have Rivera in 21st. The engines are being turned on. And Biggers in 22nd. Fry, unfortunately, not able to get a lap on the board either. He currently still has that second place to defend. And Paul in last place. And who does Fry need to defend from? It is Florenz. And I don't believe Florenz is on the grid, which means that he has to defend from Kren. And that will be, of course, a very nice sight. Kren currently only a few places ahead of him, and it will be quite close to see what will be done there. Perez is joining us now into the pits. He can't get going until these drivers pass the pit lane completely, and then some. The Porsche is now roaring on this back straight for the first time in this race session. And it is for the formation lap. Everyone queuing up alongside. We will have 30 minutes. There will be 4 racing laps around the Nordschleife. Still feels weird to say. It's only going to be 4 laps of racing. Usually feels like a lot shorter than it will be. But 30 minutes. We should have about 34 minutes of racing this time around with that 1 bonus lap. And Sasha Wasner will be leading the pack out front. We have the helicam ready for Wasner and Fit going into turn number 1. And we don't have the arena. It's going to be a short run, a right, left, into the longer straight onto the GP loop. And it's green at the Nordschleife, with Fit having a very... No, not a very bad, just a slightly worse start than Dora right behind him in the CRT car. Lenz is being attacked here by Shins. Has a look, goes back onto the racing line, and Fit follows through closely. And Lenz has the inside line. It doesn't get far enough to get ahead of the CRT car, and that Shins with a small touch gets sent all the way back. He is all the way back, and I can't really click on him because he is dropping down very quickly. Wasner still out in first place, Fit right behind him, and I should be able to get you that replay in just a second, because Shins is the number... Let's see what car he is. Number 9 car, and there's contact with the number 9 car right around here, and I should be able to get you that right now. Accident with the number 9 car. Here it is, Dario Shins. We get the onboard here. Goes to have a look, decides against it, goes back onto the racing line. Sees an opening there on the inside, but that's Lenz covering him off, and then he's just sideways backwards and has to wait for everyone else to pass. And that means that we can't really see too much of what would have happened. But Lenz cutting across, and Shins sticking his nose where it does not belong. Now I see Slade dropping down as well. The number 24 car. There has been another contact. See if we can catch that as well. So the number 24 car in the pink car. It is Dexter Slade in the Schumacher S's. He's going to get sent on. Might just be. That's a rear end from the other Porsche. And that's not going to be a good time. That's not going to be a happy time. That means that It's gone all the way back. Currently 24th. Shins has gone past Kiss. Currently in the number 10 car. Also dropping down. I'm not sure if that is from anything but a mistake, because I didn't see any contact here on the incident list. The top runners are still as they were. It is Wasner, Fit, Door, and Lenz. Then Klimov and Schmiegold taking away that one spot that was originally in the hands of Shins. Currently looking at a small fight here. This is for 15th place. We have Ratajik and the biggest right behind him. Do see a spot being traded up ahead. That is Kren getting past Svinkunas. As for 11th place, Kren's gained a lot of positions already, but so has Fry. And Svinkunas loses one, might just lose a second one coming up to these two left-handers. And never mind, that's a right-hander. Forgot that we were still in the early stages of this lap. Very much looked like a different corner that we're coming up to quite soon. Fry not able to get past. We'll have to look for another opportunity. And in the meantime, Sinar has joined this battle while Kren has been chasing down Garcia for 10th place. And Fry's pushing hard. He's trying to find that spot to get past. It's not really too much to go off of. Sandwiched between two drivers. There I have him. I thought these were the two corners that we were approaching. There's the left-hander. And there's another one. That's a small fight there. A little bit further up ahead. That's Garcia and Kren fighting, with Kren getting another place. And he is on an absolute charge. Currently in 10th, slightly ahead of Fry. Looking to take away a spot in the championship, but that's only possible if Fry does not gain more points than he does in these final rounds. Oh, that's a mistake from Garcia. Slide into the wall as he drops down 2 spots, 3 spots. Now it's to fight as Kiss has Ratajik right behind him. Does get away with it. And Kren getting one more spot here from Hodap into this combination of corners. As Garcia dropping all the way back. And Sonar chasing down Fry, who has Sving Kunas right ahead of him. Modica getting through on Rainman, who supposedly made a mistake. Now has Kren right behind him. There's a small damage on the front of that car, so it seems. And Kren now with a look here. Hodap is right behind him, so I can't mess up this overtake. Only a few tenths between him and the number 4 car. We're looking at the uphill section, the part where the cars have to fight against gravity. They're not really increasing the speed that much. They're decreasing even on full throttle. There's a small break. Oh, that's a little bit of grass touched. That's the normal line. It always upsets the cars just a tiny bit. As we have the carousel coming up, and it might be an interesting one. It's Kren. It's really trailing the number 4 Raimon. And remember, Modica's right up ahead as well. This is all for 7th place. That's Kren on the inside. Raimon goes all the way out, loses 1 spot, will lose a second one to Hodap as well. Now down to 10th place, Kren up to 8th. And that is the carousel for you. Kren now chasing down Modica. Has been close to Rainman for a while. Is now getting that run on to Modica. Has gone through. As Hodap is looking for a move as well. That's in defense from Modica. And there's some flashing. Not happy is the number 18 car. Does have a little bit of pressure from behind, but not a big enough braking zone here to warrant an overtake or warrant a look. That's bigger than just a small peak. Meanwhile, the number 14 car of Garcia has been tumbling down the order. And there has been an accident. There have been some touches. There have been more further back. We'll get with that on the replay. But this is a 4-man fight for 8th place. And Modica followed by Hodap, Rainman and Fry, who has joined us now. That's the grey car in the back of this pack. That is Fry, as Vincunas is also closing in. And Fry needs to make it through, and that looks like a small tap there to Hodap. Was that a small tap, though? That is the question. It doesn't say that there's an incident or an accident with contact. That might have just been a small mistake. That's a big, big problem. Now we're looking at Modica letting Fry past. And Hodap has rejoined. He's still right behind here. I was trying to find him in the incident report, but it wasn't the case. It was not there. We have some other incidents. I'm unsure if we can catch the replay from the ones that we saw before. It's currently a straight, and I kind of want to see what happens in the braking zone here. Because we have some more fights here. Schmiegold on the inside of Klimov. Into the final braking zone as we finish up lap number 104. With Wasner still confidently in the lead. Schmiegold not able to get on through. First lap being completed in 8 minute 22 by Wasner. Fit only 2 seconds behind. Nothing happened further back either. Modica able to go right on through. Fry still has that second gap ahead of him. Is chasing Ratajik. Wright is following quite closely. This will be a good run for turn number 1. Slipstreamed all the way from the back of the exit of the North Loop. Now on to turn number 1. And will it be an overtake? It will be a very, very clean overtake for Alexander Rines. That's P14. If we're looking further back, Moman, Paul and Slade in the fight for 18th. Paul going on through on Moman. Slade in 20th. Might just go on through. Oh, that's a slide, and that's the number 17 car around the exit of the arena. Has to slot in the back of this fight. And that is a small slight problem, as he will need to recover from that incident. Fry on his way to the North Loop, currently 9th in the number 2 car, chasing down Rainman for 8th. Meanwhile, Kren is only 1 position up ahead, but it is 6 seconds from Fry to Kren, so that fight is still going on quite strongly. It's only half a second now from Fry up ahead. Track's quite bumpy, but Fry handling it a little bit better than Rayman does. That's a look towards the inside, and that's Fry on through. That's a great, great move from the number 2 car, showing why he has that number to his name. Rayman instantly under pressure, and Fry ironically free from the clutches of the number 4 car, and is able to chase down Kren in 7th place, who currently is chasing another battle. This is Schmiegold in 6th place, Klimov in 5th. That's a good exit there, and a good look from Kren. He has made up a place. That's up to 6th place. He should have a good look at what's happening here. A left-hander coming up. The right-hander coming up, apologies. I still forget where everything is every now and then. They have the next long left-hander and then a big braking zone to the hairpin. Coming right up, and this should be a big slipstream for Kren. Making up 13 places is going to make that 14. As he definitely looks very, very closely to the rear of Klimov. There it is, there's the braking zone, but it's not enough. It is not enough. Klimov holding on to 5th place. But while all this is happening, Fry is closing in. Where is Kren going to have his next chance? Where is he going to get his move? Or his opportunity, and that's a slide from the Aero Wash. The number 3 car not happy being stuck behind the number 8. Schmigel happily following this, and there's Fry in the background. He is closing in very, very fast. It's gone from 6 seconds or 5.5 seconds to just 4 in, I was going to say half a lap's time, but that's a lot. That's about 4 minutes. But Fry chasing this down very, very quickly. Knows exactly what to do here. And Kren keeps looking for something while Klimov parks it on the middle of the track. There's nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing he can do to get past for now. We'll have to wait for the next big braking zone. It is coming up soon. But it's also a very tight part of the track. And Klimov knows to park the car on the apex. He's going to do it one more time as Kren is sliding, taking the curb, and he's now dropping back a tiny bit. Schmigel getting held up as a result. You can see him in the mirrors. These cars have them. They don't have the cameras, they have the mirrors. As the gap drops down to 3 seconds from Kren to Fry behind. Another fight going on here is for 13th place. Ratajczyk and Rides. As Rides goes on through. That's a good line taken there. Trying to go defensive from the number 21 car. And Rides just shoveling on through and up to 13th. And Biggs is in the fight as well. He's taking the right-hand side off the track, sliding in, small touching onto the grass, but has the inside line for the right-hander. Should have this in his pocket. And that's Ratajczyk down one more. Biggs up to 14th. Number 21 car down to 15th place. Kren now side by side with Klimov. As we have Fit with a yellow flag, and he's sideways. And where did that and how did that happen? That is unfortunate. We're going to see what the yellow flag is all about here with Zohan Fit currently in 4th place and tumbling. Not sure what is going on. Breaking down here for... Oh, that is a big touch of grass here before the carousel. A big touch to the front, and there we have it. That's Door coming on through. Fit now in 4th place, having to concede 2 spots. Door on the 2nd, Lenz into 3rd. Schmigel has gone through on Klimov as well. Kren into 5th, and Fry to Kren. Look at that. The gap is so small, but now Fry has the same problem that Kren had before. And it is this gaggle of cars that's just so close in pace, but once free, you're able to get right on through with it. And they're fighting for these positions. Kren already a 2nd clear of Schmigel. And Fry now on his way to gain one more spot to close the gap in. Both Kren and Fry did not get a qualifying lap on the board, meaning they're starting way later, way further behind compared to what they should have been doing. A big slide there from Klimov, who's obviously struggling with the car. As the first half of the race is almost done. That's a lot of grass being touched there. And an inside line taken for Klimov, afraid to lose the position instantly. Will hold on to it. But in turn, loses about a 2nd of lap time compared to the cars ahead, who are just getting along with it. Fry's losing a lot of time here. Knows he's quick. He's looking, making himself big in the mirrors of the number 8 car ahead. Knows that he has to take every single opportunity that he can. There are not many of them being presented to him at the moment. A little bit wide there on the 2nd carousel, meaning that he's going to get less of a slipstream on the back straight. And Kren is already out of Schmigel's reach. It's got about 7 seconds to Fit up ahead. And Wasner cleanly out in 1st place still. About 8 seconds, as you can see on the timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see the exact gaps between the drivers. That means we only have a few opportunities for switches in positions. Fry now with the slipstream. We should be able to see him get closer. And Klimov just outside of that range from Schmigel. That gap getting quite big. And Fry now having to maneuver his car so he can get as close as possible. Make sure he gets the best run he can onto turn number 1. And it's full throttle here on the exit. There he goes, already on the inside line. Let's see what he does going into the first turn of the track. He should have something alongside already, almost. And there it is. The descent here is very much possible. And it's all to fight Kren up ahead. About 2 seconds away from Fry. Big deep break from Fry. He gains the position as Hold Up takes one away from Svinkunas on the straight. We'll try and switch back, but the next corner is a left-hander. Has to do another switch here. Doesn't get it in time as Svinkunas keeps the position. And Hold Up unable to take it all away. Rides here. Did lose another position. His car looks pretty banged up there. Ratajczyk a little bit wide on the exit. Should have the overspeed though. As we see Fry with an incident. That is Fry into the wall. And the number 2 car making a small problem here for himself. Let's see what happened. This is Michael Fry. This is on the GP loop. And this is just an oversteer on exit. That's a small little touch of sand. That's okay. That's completely fine. And it seems that he was not paying attention. It seems to me that he has just rammed it onto the grass and just slammed it into the wall. That is very, very, I want to say interesting, but it's also very, very sad. He's done it again. Is this a small disconnect? Are these small disconnection issues from his hardware? Because he seems to not have a very great time there on the tarmac. He's not having the best of times. He's tumbling down the order. Currently 17th and not moving as it stands. Well, quite literally, because he is standing there just, well, waiting. Looks like he is going again. Is he steering is the issue? Is he doing something? Yes, he is. He is driving again. So he might have had some issues. Not sure exactly as to what is going on. But he is losing a lot of ground. Has made up a little bit, but he's calling in yellow again. And there he is parked on the inside. He might have had some issues, and he might still be having issues. So that's Fry practically out of the race. Currently in 20th place, as Perez is going to pass him in just a few moments. There he is. That's Perez on through. I'm down to 21st. One of the cars behind him is Rivera in the pits, and Was, who's currently on his second lap of the loop. While Wasner here has done 2 laps already, so that's Was, I think, just joining a little bit late or being just a little bit late. And Fry is moving once again, unsure what is happening. He keeps stopping and then going again. That is quite interesting. I'm trying to see if I can find some information here in the LFM server. He has gone back onto the pit lane. And he's out. That is Fry out. He's into the pits and he is out of this race. Now that is quite an interesting one, to be sure. So I'm sure if there's anything said here in... Nope, nothing has been said in any of the chats, I believe. Nope, there's nothing being mentioned about Fry and or his issues. And he's rejoined now. He's in the pits. He's stationary. And I think we've talked enough about Fry now. We'll see if we can get a post-race interview here, because this is quite unusual for a man that's second in the standings and 4th in the standings for the Pro Series. So we might be able to get a word from him. See what happened about halfway through that race. As we are currently looking for the fight for 10th place, as Hold Up is closing in on Svinkunas. These two have been fighting since the start of the GP loop, and there is quite some struggle from both of these drivers to get their car in the position that they want to be. You can see defensive moves from Svinkunas wherever needed. Hold Up with small looks, but the only thing he's seeing is the diffuser from his rival. And the number 20 just a little bit too far ahead to be able to do anything in terms of ascend. Going up the hill now is going to be an issue. They're making their way onto quite a long straight towards the carousel here. There's one corner here, right-hander, and now it's all the way up the hill with little intermezzos. This is a slipstream area for the number 18. He can and should be able to bump draft this all the way to the carousel, maybe even make Svinkonas miss his braking zone. He's going to be pulling alongside. That's quite a daring move here to do on the uphill. Unsure if this is going to result in anything. We are going to have one slowdown here. Coming right up. Unsure. Oh, Hold Up has taken some more space. And there's no send here. There's absolutely no send. Now it's just a wait for Hold Up to see if he can get a pass here in the carousel. See what Svinkonas does. And they're both taking it, which is obviously the faster route. But we have seen before the drivers might jump for the outside line and lose a few positions. That makes them a little bit freer of traffic. And this is currently the closest fight that we have. Fry is out on the track once again. You can see the number 2 car in the GP loop having his own little race there. And this is the closest fight that we have. There's some other fights going on for 12th place right behind this ride. Currently a second away. Kiss is for 14th place behind Ratachik. About 2 seconds. Same for Ratachik on to right. And then further back, Malman in 18th place, 1 second behind Slade. Those are the closest that we have. Fitness 2 seconds behind Lenz for 3rd place. Currently in 4th after losing 2 positions due to a small mistake. The rides is closing in. Some a banger lap here this time around. Check in with him as Hold Up loses a little bit of speed through the final section of the North Loop. It's now Rides chasing down Biggers, who's taking a little bit too much of the curb, and Rides has to slow down. It's going to put Ratachik in this fight. Might just join him in. And Rides unable to get past due to a mistake from Biggers. But he did park it quite well on the track to make sure that Rides didn't get past. And recovered well. Didn't lose too much time out of it. And Rides not very happy with it. As we are starting our final lap of the Nordschleife race. It is Sasha Wasner closing in on the start-finish line. That means we have about 8 minutes of racing left. And Wasner confidently starting the final lap. Onto the back straight we go. It's quite a long run here onto the towards the main GP track. There should be a slipstream being taken here. Rides being pushed all the way to the outside. That's not where you want to be. You want to be on the inside. And this might just be a little bit of psychology from Rides to claim the inside line here for the left-hander. And it's a slight left-hander, but it might just make the difference between P13 and P12. Biggers getting back onto shape just in time. And that was almost a wheel-banging moment, but Rides lifting off of the gas to make sure that they don't collide. And a small slide out of that final corner now on to the GP loop once more. And it is 13th in the hands of Rides. 12th inside, but not a space to throw a send. Ratachik has gotten closer. Left Kiss behind him. He's now joining this fight, making it a 3-way fight for 12th. And the fight it is. The Rides is looking for every single opportunity to get past the number 15 car. But Biggers is holding his ground. He's not doing too much just yet. Fit has gotten close to Lenz now. About 2 seconds gained on the previous lap. Currently the fastest man on track. Sasha Wasner in first in 8 minute 19. As Rides is feeling like the fastest man on track, doing some movements onto Biggers, who's made a small misjudgment, but get away with it. That's Ratajci with a small misjudgment. It's fallen away of this fight, dropping a bit further back, going on a little bit too straight. And it's the final lap for these drivers. 3 minutes on the clock, and they can't get to the checkered flag. Can't get to the racing line, to the timing line within 3 minutes. So that means that this is the final lap. Lots of drivers have conceded this race. Fry in 22nd position. Currently last. 3 drivers have gone completely out. There's just 22 warriors still standing on the green hill, whose victory is all in the hands of Sasha Wasner. 13 seconds is the lead. 12.8 does the timer say. And Rides a small inside look on Biggers. Side by side now through the first section of the North Loop. And that's a big move there from Biggers to put his car right ahead of Rides. That is going to earn him a quick warning for contact. And that is not what he wanted. But that is a good way to defend the position. Rides will not be happy with it. But they'll have to get on. Have to get by. So he knows that he's got the pace. There's a right-hander coming up. Biggers blocking off the inside as per usual. That's what you do on an offense and a defense. You try to hold the inside line for the next corner, as the inside line is usually the shorter way around. There's less ground to cover compared to the outside line. This fight will go on for quite a while now. Or it has gone on for quite a while now and will go on even longer. Biggers going defensive even when Rides was not that far within reach. Made a small mistake, and now it's Ratajci right behind him. That's the number 21 car trying to claim something out of here. The gap is closing down. That's Ratajci. Who's now following through for 13th. The position that Rides is currently inhabiting. Trying to make his way through because Biggers is pulling away ever so slightly. Rides will have to put up the pressure. Previous lap time about identical to the car ahead. Ratajci even slower in some spaces, but does look to be the quicker car out of these 3. As the checkered flag is officially out. That means that this is the final lap for Wasner. And that does mean that Fry might start another lap. We'll have to wait for him to finish. It's going to be a few minutes off of what's happening here. Oh, that's Ratajci, who has touched the wall a little bit. Was that a misjudgment? Or something else? We might be able to see that on the replay. Let's see if we can get on board with Ratajci. So go on to this section of the track, see if there's any inputs that we missed. Any mistakes that we can see or can snatch. Oh, that's a big slide. That's onto a curb. Luckily, pointed towards the right direction quite in time. That's a small hiccup. That's going to put him 1 place down. That's 14th. To his name. Currently does have the pressure from Kiss behind, but Wright is about 4 seconds completely clear. He's lucky it's the side of the car that got hit. That's usually the part of the car that matters the least in terms of damage. If you lose the front, you can lose a lot of front aero. Your turn-in will be absolutely ridiculous. If you get hit in the rear, it might harm your diffuser, which can mean a number of things. That's fit with another mistake. See what happened here. See if we can catch that on our short replay. There he is, a small slide onto the grass. Oh, it is a very small one. With huge consequences, because that puts Kren up to 4th and Fit down to 5th. So we are looking at a 3-second gap here to Leon Kren. And 14 seconds from Dur to Wasner. I'm quickly going to be on board with Wasner for these final moments. Usually what they do in racing is on the final lap, you go completely on board with the leader of the race to showcase what they are doing and then catch any battles that are going on in the replays. But Wasner, if we have to do this for 8.5 minutes, I don't think we'd be able to catch anything else. Second carousel here for Wasner. The final important bit to not lose the car. Now it's on to the back straight. And on to a very, very long wait until he crosses the line and officially gets the victory here at the Nordschleife. While he goes and drives in the straight line for a moment, we'll check in with Rides, who has gotten that dinged up car right back up again towards the back of Biggest, his number 15 car. And it is quite close between the two. And there is still a chance for Rides to get the overtake done. There's still a third of the track to go. Unfortunately, about half of that is a straight, and Rides basically has one chance after that straight. So he only has a few corners to really make anything happen. And the problem being Big is not going defensive. So that's what he usually should do if you approach the final stages of the race, final stages of the laps, and able to get that position for realsies. Sasha Wasner crossing the line and getting the victory here at the Nordschleife. The fight isn't done for a few of these drivers. It's the second carousel here. Rides one opportunity. He has one opportunity he tries to take. It's Biggest right ahead of him. A small tap to the rear of Biggest's car. That's going to upset him just ever so slightly, and it's now a straight. It's full throttle down, and we'll get to see on board what the gap closing ability is from Rides, his car. It's absolutely dinged up at the front as Dor takes second place, Lenz in third, Kren fourth, and Fit drops down to fifth place. As we see Rides closing in ever so slightly on Biggest. Biggest is looking at the Delta, knows that their gap is not going to close completely. Or at least he's hoping that it's not going to close completely. Rides in that slipstream, one braking zone to go, and it's not big enough to get a move done. It's Biggest right ahead of Rides, will hold the position. It's only a good exit and only a good ascent that can take him, and Rides tried to do it off the track, and of course that's not legal, so he will hold on to Biggest will hold on to 12th place, and Rides will come home in 13th. So that's the race at the Nordschleife done. Wasner happy in first place. I think is already out of the track. Yep, he is off the server. Doris in second place, Lenz in third, Kren has fourth place, Fit in fifth, Schmiegelt in sixth place is doing a little bit of a little donut with Biggest. They are looking to be very happy as teammates. And they're going to go back into the pits as well. Schmiegelt in 6th place, Klimov in 2nd, Modica 8th, Rainman in 9th, Svinkunas in 10th. And I believe that is going to hand us the final standings for the Porsche Cup for this final race here at season 20. This is of course going to be an interesting one. So we're going to head on to this studio and see if we can get a little bit of an interview with anyone from the race. And I kind of want to speak to Fry because he has had that issue. I'm seeing if we can talk to him. I don't think we can. I'm not seeing anyone in the waiting room. We do have our next session coming up soon. That's going to be the Pro Series. Going to be week 12 or week 13, I should say. Round number 12 at Monza. We're going to have that one coming up shortly. Before we go and do that, we'll have a small break. And I can tell you already, it looks kind of rainy. So, yeah, just have about a 10-minute recess, and hopefully I'll get to talk with some of the drivers afterwards, because that, of course, was slightly interesting. So grab a little snack, go to the toilet, and we'll see you back again in about 10 minutes time. and we are back for the second half of this broadcast. The second half being the Gaze King Pro Series. We should have some results from that coming up right about now. Here we have them from last time around. Our results from Paul Ricard: Delphante taking the victory, Garantas Caracas in second place with Castorino in third. Our race winner from the Porsche Cup Series in 14th place, unfortunately. A little bit further back from where he wanted to be. This qualifying session has gone ahead and started a few minutes ago. And while we were all catching our breath after that first session. So these were the results from last week out in Paul Ricard. 36 cars registered and ready to race. 26 currently in our qualifying session. And the question is, how does it all stack up at the moment? And it is close, let me tell you. It is very, very, very close. I should have this right here. There we have it. Didn't show up for just a moment. I should probably change some settings. It is Castorino out in first, leading Delphante by just over 200 points. Right behind them, we have Caracas in third, Fry in fourth, and Lindblom in fifth place. So as it stands, it is still anyone's guess who wins. It's either going to be Castorino, Delphante, or Caracas. They are the only drivers eligible for the victory in the Pro Series. They're the only ones able to call themselves the victor in Season 20 in this series. Everyone behind is too far away to do anything in terms of finishing position. So that means that we have only a few moments in this race where we really have to look at what is happening. It is Castorino leading Delphante, leading Caracas. And that's going to be what we are looking at, and that's going to be what we will be aiming for. Currently, it's looking very, very wet. Like I said, we've got a little bit of a dry spell coming up in about 30 minutes. But Caracas holding P1, Delphante holding P2, and Castorino holding P3. They're reverse from what they were in the standings. Looking at faster times coming in, Wasner now on the back straight in the Bentley will have a time on the board. It's a 1:53.5 as it stands. We'll jump up to about 10th place after this lap if he can get this final corner in his clutches. The Bentley, of course, being a boat, will have a small buff here in the wet. And the track not being flooded just yet. The rain is quite heavy. That's P11 for Sasha Wasner in the number 5 Bentley. Currently looking for purple is Delphante in currently the number 2 car in sector 2, chasing down Caracas on the track ever so slightly. It is Vimozar in 12th, who has the next best improvement going towards the line. And that will be up to 8th place, jumping Van Rossum and Bellic, who is in turn doing a pretty good lap in the number 10 Lamborghini. Making his way through, and that will be 8th place, dropping Vimozar back to 9th. And it is Castorino now crossing the line with a new provisional pole position of 151.662, going back in and changing his setup for the final time before going out for run number 2, and that's what it is all about. Caracas, currently in second place, is looking very mighty through this lap, crossing the line to what appears to be something of an optimal lap for this first run. It's a 151.5. Caracas went over a 151.8. It's about 3.5 seconds clear, or 3.5 tenths clear of what he wanted to get. In the meantime, Stevens jumps up to 6th. That's a big jump for the number 17 car. Pludeman holds 15th. Will cross the line and stay in 15th. Schnedberg in 12th, has another car behind him, will jump up a few places from 12th up to 5th, and it is Kuzmirzik in 16th now, from, I believe that was 20th place. little bit further back, we have another car coming over the line, and that is Wasner, once again jumping up to 8th place, getting ready to do his final stint in this qualifying session. Bellic now on another faster lap, but is dancing around the edge of his delta. Final corner to take now. The rain is decreasing, so the lap time should increase just a tiny bit as the drivers are running away some of this water. And Bellic, one straight line to the line, has a small improvement, a very, very small one, within a 10th, but it's still a position gained for Bellic. Schwartz now in 18th place with the number 18 car. Next car to cross the line for an improvement. The 153.0 to his name. Remember the pole position currently provisionally a 151.5. You will need a banger lap to get that. Don't think Schwartz will finish this lap up. There it is, into the pits. That did not look like a fantastic lap. Dieringer 53.9 as Dreyer puts in a 52.7. It's up to 17th place. First next to cross the line will be that's the number 16 car. That will be Schnetberg in 5th. He will start the lap. Currently Dieringer crossing the line and going from 23rd into 23rd. So that stays in the same position for him. And we have drivers now starting their second run. And getting a lap number 2 on the board. McGarry in the number 23 car now, 25th place. And it's just Fry that doesn't have a lap time on the board. And McGarry stays in 25th, just a few hundreds behind Smith. And it is Fry who has crossed the line and is starting his first lap now. Looking at Salinas in 4th position, who just got another good lap time in. Van Rossum is going to be crossing the line. See where he ends up. That's 7th place still. And Max on his way through. A little bit slow there. Might just be another run-up lap. And that will be another run-up lap. He won't solidify that one on the board. Slightly slower. Dreher now 17th. Just looking at the jumping around that delta. And stays in 17th. Vimozar from 13th to 10th place. Now with the number 7 car of Lindblom going from 13th to 11th. Then Pish is there, still in 22nd. Trying to find all these cars. Schnetberg with a small improvement is on his way. And that looks to be from 6th to 4th. Very, very nicely done. And the number 26 of Dieringer goes into the pits. And that's Carcas over the line with a provisional pole position. That's Elke van der Meer in 12th place. Now we're getting a lot of times Castrino over the line. Does not get a position off of Caracas. It's very, very close. That's 200ths away from that 151.2 that Caracas has done. The track conditions have improved. It's currently damp. Del Fonte crossing the line now as well. But that is also nothing fantastic. I mean, the lap time itself is really good. But it's not in terms of position. There's nothing in between Grandas and Castrino. But there is a small bit between Caracas and Del Fonte. And these are the drivers we'll be looking at for this event. That's going to be our spotlight: Caracas, Castrino, and Del Fonte. For number 3, 1, and 2, respectively, in the standings. This is going to be important for the final order of this event, of this race, and the positions are still open. It's still anyone's guess as to who is going to win this championship. And once again, we have 2 drop rounds, meaning that the drivers have 2 rounds that get removed if they don't perform like they wanted to. Lindblom from 13th to 9th. Good improvement on his end. Carrera slightly yellow. That might have hurt his lap. See what happened there. Can we get a replay of that? We sure can. See what happened here. This is Castorino. We're looking at Carrera, but Carrera just went slowly. Okay, that is good to know. That is very, very, very good to know. Probably just setting up another lap. Just doing a little bit of tomfoolery. Slow down and set up his lap to go for the next best one. Same goes for Delfante, who is looking very purple until he went into this final corner. Now he's losing time, but he might be able to make up something here on the exit. And that is going to be P3 within a 10th of pole position. He can do one more lap. That's going to be the strength of these cars. You can do one lap and then instantly one right after and still get some good performance out of the car. Smith crossing the line from 25th to 24th. Number 13 car not improving by a huge amount. And we have Corrosi into 15th as the checkered flag is out. We will wait to see who gets that pole position. Max over the line, and that is going to be 4th place. Bellic over the line does not improve, stays in position. It's going to be the number 14 car next. That is Dreher. Don't think he's looking any hotter than one he did before. Vimuzar right behind him. Just going into the pits. Lindblom is on for a personal best. That's from 10th place, jumping up to 5th place. That's only 2 tenths, by the way, from 10th to 5th. That's a big, big jump in position. We're now looking at Caracas, who has done a slightly slower lap so far. Meanwhile, the cars behind him in position are absolutely blasting it in terms of lap time. Caracas is not doing too great, will go into the pits and holds on to the lead for now. Swartz goes in to the pits, holds on to his position. Fry in 17th. Needs a good lap, takes the shortest run to the line and takes his number 6 car all the way up to 6th place. Meanwhile, Habold in 21st holds 21st. Castorino goes into the pits. Doesn't get it. Oh, he does get it, actually. He just did a little switcheroo there. I just showed that he had gone into the pits. The camera has changed, and Castorino slides. And that is a pole position in the hands of Amadeo Castorino. And what a sight to behold. I wish I had a better line over that action. That would have been insanely good for a montage for Castorino. But unfortunately, I am not the man with words, but he is the man with the lap time. First place for Castorino. Volsum goes up to 9th place. Final car over the line. It is Corrosi, and he'll take 16th. But your pole position is in the hands of Amadeo Castorino. The number 3 car takes away position 1 from the number 1 car, from Caracas, who is currently chasing down this championship. It is pole for a championship leader. And that being said, we are waiting for the grid to form. They have one formation lap, and it is raining. The rain will be gone in about 10 minutes' time. And then it looks to be dry. It is 90 minutes of racing. It is 1.5 hours. What will these drivers do? What will the strategy be? They will have to stop at least once, I believe. I think I should be showing on screen in just a moment's time. Let's give it a second for it to show. That is the amount of pit stops they have done. That is, of course, going to be absolutely 0. We haven't even started the race. So I'm going to wait for that to run out. So there is a stop in this race. Of course, you can't do 90 minutes on just the car alone. So you have to pit at least once. The question will be, when is that going to happen? Will that be halfway through? Will it be in an hour? Will it be in 30 minutes? And we will never know. until it actually happens. Let's see if we can get our starting grid ready here with Castorino in first place. That is the wrong button. We should have this one, of course. Castorino first place with a 151.9. Caracas has that second place to his name with a 151.2. Third place we have Delfante. So we hear the rain. Bitter patter on the cars. Just got to be happy it's not snow. I think that's going to be the big takeaway here. Mex in fourth place, lining up on that second row. Salinas in fifth place. Getting ready to jump onto a position to maybe grab a podium place. Lindblom in sixth. Fry in seventh place. Schnettberg holding on to P8. Apex Predators number 16 car. Lining up right next to Van Rossum. The number 8. 151 is the lap time still. And then we have Bellic in 10th place with the number 10 car. The top 10 all within a second. Then we have Sasha Wasner, the LFME Sports in 11th place. Stevens in 12th. Bischoff in 13th. Running on to our second half of the grid. Vimozar in 14th. Van der Meer in 19th, right behind in the number 9 car. Carosi will be in the number 20 car, right behind him in 16th. That's a good improvement on that final lap to get into this position. Kuzmirchik in 17th place with the number 19 car. Pludeman in 18th with the number 12. Dreher in 19th for the number 14 car. Then we have Swarge in the number 20. Oh, position 20, number 18. Then we have Hubbold, position 21. Gorlick in 22nd with the number 22. That's of course always nice when that lines up. Bish in 23rd with the number 25 car. Then we have Chris Smith, the number 13, coming close to the back of the grid in the P24. Thieringer in 25th. And McGarry in P26 with the number 23 car. Now that should be everything for our grid, and we can take a look at Amadeo Castorino. We can have a look at him. We can look at his front splitter as he traverses this damn track of Monza, the Italian track, and it is currently dry. And I wonder who has started on the wet tires. I doubt anyone has, because damp is still easily doable on the dries if you take a little bit of caution. We should have actually checked that on this camera. I think we can if we go through. So Castorino on the dries, Caracas on the dries. I think that's signified by the Pirelli logo on the side. Delfante as well. I think everyone's just gone on the dries, haven't they? That should be a given. I think everyone has at this point. They should have at least, because this is actually a very nice situation where you can have some tires that are still quite good in terms of condition. If we are looking at a 22 degrees Celsius in the air and 27 degrees Celsius on the track. If it was still raining, I would be more worried, because the tires really cool down a lot when it rains. That means the temperature in the tires usually comes from the friction on the tarmac. And if there's no friction with the tarmac, or at least little friction, and more cooling from the rain, then all the heat comes just from the brakes, from trying to stop the car. Also maybe from lockups that they will eventually be having, because there's very little grip with dry tires on the wet. but the heat will be coming from the inside of the tire instead of the outside. So blistering and graining will start to form very, very quickly, and they'll lose a lot of capacity on these tires. They'll run out so much quicker compared to just dry tires on the dry tarmac. Now the question is, how soon do you go in? Because this first stint, if you can anticipate on losing some grip very early on, you're gonna underfuel your car a tiny bit. You're gonna use about 30 to 40 minutes of fuel instead of the full 60, and you're gonna try and get into that window to pit. Try and maybe catch the car exactly as the wear goes to its absolute minimum. That's what we might be seeing here on the first stint. It's 90 minutes in total. I'm expecting 45-45 split for all of these drivers, at least the majority of these drivers. But some of them might do something daring. They might try the undercut. They might try the overcut. They might do anything. I think the undercut's stronger as you're going onto cleaner tires. But there still might be some rain after these 30 minutes. You never know. It's 90 minutes of racing, and you can't see further than 30 minutes on the radar. They're lining up now, side by side, one double file. It's two files. It's double file onto the start-finish straight. And we're getting ready for the final race at Monza. 90 minutes are on the clock, and the countdown begins in 3, 2, 1. And we are green at Monza, and Castorino does not have the start that he wanted. Carrera is right alongside. There's some small wheel banging already going into turn 1. Castorino wants to go as wide as he possibly can. Del Fonte is looking on the inside, but has to brake as Castorino is still in the way. Carrera looking on the outside, which becomes the inside for turn number 2, and he is looking to take away that position. And Max trying to fight with Del Fonte to do the exact same. Might have that spot. Castorino sliding a little bit out the exit of turn number 2, and into turn 3 they go. And now on to the long right-hander. Eric Del Fonte still on the inside of Max, who has the run. And it's Del Fonte still in third place, but it's still the lead for Grantas Carrera, who took it after turn 2 with a little scrap with his rival Castorino. And this will be very, very tight for the championship. This has to happen in order for Carrera to claim this championship. A little bit further back, it is Max being chased by Michael Fry and David Salinas right behind as well as we're going on to Lesmo 2. Gonna have to get used to seeing the same part of the track multiple times because we just had Nordschleife, and that is of course always a big travel. But further back we see Schnedberg trying to follow down Van Rossum, and Wasner is right in the middle of all of that. Wasner has gone on through. That is Schnedberg down to 10th place, Wasner up to 9th, and has Van Rossum in his sights. And they are all right behind Lindblom. There he is. There's going to be a good run towards the back of the cars in front. Salinas now looking onto Fry. This is going into the final turn of the racetrack, with Max leading this pack in P4. It's not over yet though. Castorino very close to Caracas. And Fry has gone through. That's Max going slowly. He's towards the outside of the track, lost 2 positions. Fry and Salinas on through. Castorino no way to make any moves, and this is a 3-way fight for P number 4 into turn number 1. Salinas on the right hand side of the screen, Fry on the left hand side of the port, breaking very deep, misjudging, going off the track, having to rejoin, and has to give up that position. That is not illegal overtaking. He has to give that one up. But all the while, Lindblom is back in this. It's Salinas going on through. That is his position, 100% sure. Max will take this as well. Fry will do the best he can to keep Lindblom behind, but he doesn't have the speed. It's Lindblom being optimistic, and Van Rossum tries to join in this fight, and now it's a defense. That's Max with a small tap to the rear of Salinas, who will keep that position. Feeling like he's wronged by Max right behind, who's just braked a little bit too far. Has now Fry up his inside. Will take the move into Lesmo 1 to take the position back once again. Lindblom ready to pounce as the train is stacking up, and it's a lot of cars here trying to take away these spots. It's everyone for themselves, and it's carnage as there's a rear tap from Max onto Fry, telling him to speed up, and he's blocked in by Lindblom going into Ascari. Fry has gone towards the inside of the track, has chosen his spot. Max nowhere to go, but only to defend from Lindblom, who has to stick behind. And now it's going to be careful work here. See who else in the back gets something done. Small taps left, right, and center. As Castorino slowing down, Delphante going on through. Unsure what's happening here. But it looks to be a slowdown here from Castorino. Nothing too spicy just yet. Currently looking at Max in the silver and orange car, followed by Lindblom and then Van Rossum in the purple car that we're focusing on. Right behind him is Sasha Wasner and then Schnedberg in 10th place. This is all a fight for 6th in the standings. You can see the cars rubber banding a tiny bit, and that's all due to the fact that the shifting points are different for every single car. Lindblom now looking for something on the inside of Max, but doesn't go for it. That is Schnedberg trying to have a look, and is currently being tapped by... Oh, that's Stevens actually that goes around in the Lamborghini. Has to drop all the way back, take the escape road, and be right ahead of Vimozar going on to the racing track. And he is now 3 wide going into the right-hand there. And that is another position gain as Bellic is dropping the back. There's so much going on in this race. It's Delphante dropping down to 3rd place. It's a fight for basically every position. It's Bischoff going on through here, and it's still a fight for 7th place, with Max having a little bit of more breathing room, with Lindblom dropping back in the first 5 minutes. There's been so much going on. I haven't caught a single thing. I feel like I'm missing everything that's going on in this race, because there is just so much to see, so much happening all at once. The thing to take away here is that Carrera is 1.5 seconds ahead of Castorino, and Delphante is just slightly behind that. In terms of standings, what does that mean? Optimal position for Caracas and Castorino. Delphante might just be losing out on both of his rivals, and that is never, never good. A little bit further back, Lindblom is in 5th place, Fry is in 4th. So Fry in 5th place in the race, and Lindblom in 7th is a funny position for him. He's going to be happy with that. Wasner in 9th, though, is not going to be happy. Bellic is way further back, currently in 18th, is going to be losing out on Max, who is currently 6th in the race and 8th in the standings. Do you remember anything? I don't. I'm looking at cars go around. It is Max and Lindblom currently looking for something into turn 1, especially Lindblom, who's got the slipstream. We're going to see a double move here, probably from Wasner, who's closing in on Van Rossum. It's Lindblom side by side, Wasner on the braking. It's a good move from Lindblom to get all the way past. Gets a small tap, I believe that is, from Max, who's reclaimed that position. Wasner now careful to not lose a spot. Van Rossum was far enough ahead to not have to worry about Wasner going into turn number 2. He's now able to set his sights on the fight ahead. Has a little look of the fence. That's a car going on through. That looks to be Van der Meer, who goes very, very deep. Is now sent all the way back. Let's see what that replay was all about. Get an onboard. That's a little bit too far up, and ooh, that was a tap. I think 10 seconds, just a little bit too much, too short of a replay timer. Van der Meer now in 21st place after dropping back. That's always frustrating to see a driver miss a braking zone or just have a little problem on the braking and absolutely sending it into a gaggle of cars. Bit further up ahead still, it's this fight for 6th place. 4 cars as they were, basically. Stevens now side by side with Kuzmirzik, who loses the place. That's 13th for the number 17 car. Bellic rejoined now and into a fight. Let's got Vimozar right behind him and Swartz right in front. So the final corner of the track. That's going to be difficult. That's going to be interesting. Will that be anything here from Bellic to look at? Nope. That's going to be straight on through, and that's going to be a small tap to Vimozar, and Habold will be taking away a spot if he can keep the car straight. It's greasy now, not damp anymore. It's fighting here at the front as Lindblom, Van Rossum are going at it. Max is still holding on to it. It's just, again, a 4-way into turn number 1. There's not much happening this time around, though, but I do want to check in with these as we go on. Vimozar and Habold now fighting. Habold not able to get past. Did so momentarily on the straight. But a new train is forming behind these drivers as well. It's now a fight for 4, 5, 6, 7 cars for P17. As we have this 4-way fight for P6 going on. Max now side by side with Lindblom, who has the advantage into Lesmo 1. It is Van Rossum now in the rear of Max, trying to look for something, maybe into Ascari. The exit here might be strong. That's some small grass being touched there on the hops there on the exit of Lesmo 2. Wasner making himself known, showing himself in the mirrors of Van Rossum ahead. And it is still very, very close in anyone's game up here. Here we go again, Wasner showing himself in the mirrors, making himself big. It's not that difficult with that Bentley. Next going towards the inside, Van Rossum trying to look for an attack. But has to be careful because Wasner is there to pick up every single scrap that is being thrown to him. Castorino in second place, putting down the fastest lap, about half a second quicker than what Carrera has been doing in the previous lap. That's always a good sign, because that means that we're going to get a fight for the lead sometime soon. Lindblom's clear, but Max is in trouble. Pushes Van Rossum all the way to the inside. Knows he didn't cover off far enough, and that's Van Rossum on through to 7th place. Has to hold it towards turn 2 as well. It's going to be difficult. Tries to hold on to it. His nose is still there. He can't go to the right. Max is basically blocked off from the inside onto the next turn, and almost just barely makes it. Wasner with that Bentley tries to push onto the outside, can't make it just yet. Max knows he has to go defensive into the second chicane. Still holds on to the place, but this does mean that Schnedberg is joining in on this fight, and it's only getting closer and closer onto the next run. Lindblom in the meantime has gone on through, doesn't have any pressure anymore. Since Max had to go fully defensive and not offensive, which means that Lindblom is free to go wherever he wants to. He's got about 1.5 seconds clear, and he's going to be very, very happy. Van Rossum now again looks to the inside a tiny bit. And Max knows he can't send it, so he goes back to the racing line to take his optimal route through these corners. It's going to be a look into turn 1. Once again, it's going to be a 4-way. Once again, but this time it's not Lindblom that's taking it. It's Max that has the lead. Castorino pops down another fastest lap. A bit wide for Max, and Van Rossum might be able to capitalize on this. Doesn't have the slipstream this way. Wasner will. Schnedberg will as well. It's going to be side-by-side action into the first turn, but who will be side-by-side with who, we'll never know until the moment comes. It's Max still ahead with Van Rossum right behind. That's Schnedberg getting 1 position. That's the place gained on Wasner. We'll look for another one. But Van Rossum holding towards the inside of the track. Need some more side-by-side action with Vimosar and Swartz. Swartz trading positions, ending up in 17th. And same thing happening here once again. It's Schnedberg trying to gain the position on Van Rossum. And Wasner closing in with a very good exit. If there's one mistake happening, it will create carnage for the 3 of them. And Schnedberg holds on to this all the while. Max is just trailing away with it. So 2 seconds gone almost. And once again, it will be a 4-way fight, but this time it's not Max leading, it's Van Rossum leading. With Schnedberg behind Wasner, and then Bischoff and Stevens joining in. It's Caracas going slowly, which is an issue. Castorino has gone on through. Wasner will now fight with Schnedberg, both having contact. That's Wasner sideways and backwards on the track. That's not where he wants to be. He's going to be dropping massively, taking a quick spot there to go onto the grass and recovering. But something happened with Caracas. See if we can find the 30-second replay. See if we can see anything. It might just be an exit there that went horribly wrong. And this is Castorino getting on past. It doesn't look to be anything other than a small mistake. But Carrera's losing the lead to our championship leader. And it might just be over until the next pit stop. So no one's going in just yet. It is still in anyone's hands. It will be Castorino leading Delphante, leading Carrera in the championship as it stands. There's almost nothing between Carrera and Delphante. Castorino leading by 200 points. There is still very much an opportunity for all these drivers to get something done at least. Wasner's now all the way towards the back of the grid. Currently in 24th. Definitely not happy with the car. He is slowing down. That's Dieringer towards the outside going on through. Does he have that much damage that he's so much slower? Or is he just holding in? Because that doesn't look like damage at all. That looks like a very nice overtake. As we have another side-by-side here. Smith joining on in. And that's all very, very, very weird. Some small taps in Ascari send Wasner wide and backwards on the track. But now he's just he's gone all the way back to the rear. That's never a happy moment. Van der Meer in 18th. Having a look on Hubbold. Of course, had that major moment back in the second chicane. Castorino just bumping out fastest laps again. It's now almost 2 seconds clear of Caracas. He's going to be very happy to take away that position. And we're joining in once again with Van Rossum and Schnedberg in 8th and 9th place respectively for this fight into turn number 1. And that's not going to happen. We're looking at behind. Stevens and Plumman are planning something. Stevens on the inside. Might be able to get completely past if... well, that's Bischoff actually. Apologies. Bischoff holding on to the place. Stevens has the inside and will retake 10th. Now remember, this is only one race. It's not like usual. We have 2 races where we have a short race and then a reverse grid for a second race where P15 matters a lot. P15 doesn't matter at all. It's just how high can you get. It's 90 minutes to the end. But there's absolutely nothing between them as Stevens leads Bischoff through the Lesmos now. And Bischoff losing out on his P10 position. Schnedberg here, right behind Van Rossum. On the way to Ascari. The track is green. So the faster laps are being set. But they will have to be careful because they have to do one stop. They have to figure out when exactly to do that stop. And the only way they can calculate when that happens, either when the fuel runs out or when the tires run out. And of course one of the two will happen before the other. And they're hoping that the tires run out or the fuel runs out before the tires, because that means they planned it correctly. But the question is, will they pit 45 minutes in or will they go earlier because of this, because of the weather? Or will they go a full hour to secure the good weather? Make sure they know the forecast for the entirety of the rest of the race. That's going to be an interesting one. Bellic not close enough to Kursmusik to get an overtake done. But for the back, we see 3 cars here. Korlik, Korosi and Wasner fighting for P22. Wasner currently in 24th, fighting with Korosi in 23rd. And that looks to be a move around the outside. Very nicely done by Wasner. It takes away P23. Doesn't have any way to put that Lexus with that Bentley. I'll have to settle for 24th. Once again, joining in with this fight for 8th place. It has been going on for a while, but this time they've caught Mex, who is in 7th. This might just be a 3-way battle once again. Stevens is a bit too far behind to be relevant for these three. There he is. But he does have his own two rivals. It is Bischoff and Pludeman in 11th and 12th. And it will be Belik to try a move on Kuzmierzyk in P13, now P14, in the final corner of the track. That succeeded quite nicely. I can look right back up at the front runners. 7th, 8th and 9th go into turn 1. It's not a joke, but it is a situation that we're having at the moment. Van Rossum on the inside of Max, who has been falling back, gets a small tap, gets unsettled, and has to run it on the exit. And it will be Van Rossum's position. It's only the question if Schnellberg can join in on this or if he has to stay behind. The answer is he has to stay behind for now. Max looking on the inside. Van Rossum forced to go slightly defensive. Goes back onto the line. Now the corner is wide open. That's too wide almost. That went quite neatly from the looks of it. Van der Meer and Swartz now fighting as well. This time judged nicely. Side by side through the turns. Van der Meer holding on. Might have a little bit of a better exit there. And Swartz being left behind onto the Lesmos. That's an overtake done up to P16. I have just gotten them a word that with 4 points, this is absolutely ridiculous, by the way, with 4 points, Castorino has now officially won the Pro Series. There's no way for anyone else to get P1. It has been done. It is over. I can close my notebook. It's not a 205-point deficit. With these drop rounds kept in mind, calculated by our... Whoa, is that going to be a look? That's not going to be a look, Schnellberg. You have to wait until a proper opportunity. I'm not done talking just yet. With the calculations, it appears that Castorino has just received the... well, after last week even, someone has just quickly done a little calculation of the drop rounds. And it is it's Castorino who has taken the victory with 4 points over Caracas in case Caracas wins and Castorino gains absolutely 0. So with a 4-point margin, Castorino goes into this final race. So he didn't even have anything to lose anymore. He has got the championship to his name. It is his, and it is his forever. For season 20, Castorino's our Case King Pro Series champion. But he does it anyway. And he's 3.5 seconds ahead of Caracas. You can see on the right-hand side on the minimap. On the track map, you can see Castorino in the number 3. The little triangle on the map showing that he is the race leader. And the number 1 and 2, Caracas and Del Fonte trailing, as we have Max with a small issue, a bit too wide out of his car. We saw that happen with Caracas. That can lose you a position, and it did lose him a spot. That Schnellberg going on through Stevens, having a small look on the inside. Cheeky little man. Doesn't go for it. And has to stay behind for now. A bit over the line there for Max. Not going to be happy with that. Stewarts won't be either. Some more side-by-side action here in the back. McGarry on the inside with Wasner trying to make a move happen. The Bentley powerful, but not enough to get anything out of that final turn. But might with the switchback going on to the first turn. Getting this straight right is quite important. There's still Dreher a little bit out in front. Maybe there's a small slipstream being picked up by McGarry, who keeps the spot. And it's now Dreher, McGarry, Wasner, Gorlick and Carosi in this fight. And it's a fight for 20th place. And these 5 drivers are all in on it. Fastest lap still in the hands of Castorino, consistently lapping faster than Caracas. As we see Carosi Have a little look on the inside of Gorlick. Doesn't send it though, as he has to keep it behind. Wasner squirrely on the exit there of the chicane. So we're approaching the 1 hour mark, meaning that we've had just under half an hour done in this race. A third of the race done, and we might see the first drivers go into the box as the track condition is currently fast. It's Wasner with a good exit out of Lesmo 2. He's got something to fight for here. That's P21. If McGarry can't hold it, and he can't, it's now the look onto P20, onto the rear of Dreher. Oh, that's very, very wide from Wasner. That might lose him a spot. Once again, McGarry and Gorlick know this. Instantly on the attack on the outside. Wasner holds on still, but he has some problems with this car. It looks like Gorlick is on the outside, but goes in a bit too deep, and there's no way he can do anything in that spot. Max here now, trying to defend from Stevens and Bischoff. Does so for now. Holds onto the place. Bischoff looking onto Stevens, but it's a four-way fight here once again into turn one. Wasner looking, Carosi looking, but nothing's happening just yet. Stevens a few corners further up ahead. That's a very good run through it. That might be a little bit too much grass and sand for Max's liking. Stevens on through on Lesmo 1. Will hold it all the way to the end because it's very, very difficult on the outside to hold on to a spot like that. It's going to be Lesmo 2 here for Max. With some pressure on the inside. Some more sand and grass being kicked up. Bischoff not happy with the way he cut back across, but was too far back to do anything about it anyway. So that is going to be P9 for Stevens. And Max dropping further and further down the order. In the meantime, Blitterman has joined in on this battle. He's in the black and red car, the number 12. Joining in on this, Bischoff looking on the inside of Max. Doesn't get in. Bellic is in on this. They're all joining this once again. Casarino has sped up, and Caracas too, but Casarino just speeding up a little bit more because he does have the fastest lap once again. 147.197 as the track is heating up. And it's not heating up actually, it's cooled down a little bit, but the conditions are improving. We are seeing some faster laps coming in. Bischoff feeling that grip a little bit too much. Went on the track trying to outbrake Max for turn one. Has to let him back through. Does so very neatly. Will slot in right behind to try and hold on to that position. See if Blumon can't get an overtake done. Have to instantly go defensive. There's no offense here for Bischoff. That's just making sure that he doesn't lose another position. I have to say big kudos to all the drivers here, because everyone I think I've seen that has taken a position off the track, they have all given it back quite instantly. Like within one or two corners, they have they have made sure that the driver they overtook has retaken that position, and that's just beautiful stuff. I really like it. Very very happy to see all that happen. Wasner fighting with Dreher for 20th place. Trying to make this a recovery drive. Might need to undercut here somewhere, because he does have the pace. Might have some damages as well. Doesn't have the speed to get alongside for Ascari, and will have to hold back for now. Hubble being chased down by Pish in 19th place, so I'll be the fight for 18th. I see more action here on the start finish rate. Bischoff, Bulleman, and Bellic now in a three-way fight for P11. Well, it's going to be three wide into turn one. That never ends well. And Bellic sacrificing himself to go on out. It's Bulleman trying to hold on to the lead. And Bischoff fighting very, very hard, but gets sent a little bit too wide. Bellic with the speed, knows that maybe he can do something if he holds his foot down. And he does so with the eyes on the next chicane. If only he can outbrake Bischoff and push him all the way out, but he can't just yet. And there it is on the exit, on the second turn. He gets stopped in the rear. That's Bischoff with the contact. Bellic saves it. But that's Kurzmicik up to 12th and Bellic down to 15th as Vimosar goes through. And Van der Meer eyeing all this, and Bellic unfortunately being tapped just slightly. And that is losing quite a few positions as Wasner goes on through on Dreher. He's now in 20th place. And happy Bellic is going to have to make up a few seconds because that's about 5 seconds time loss. Plutemon happy that he gets away with it. Max happy that he gets away with it. Kuzmicik happy that he gets a free P12 out of the way. But Bellic very much not happy. I set up ahead though. Still very much in it. Still very much fighting. And the hour mark is almost there, which means that the next lap we might see the first driver come in. Some of them might feel like the tires are going already. And I hope for them that they aren't, because they'll have to do the full hour on a clean set. That's going to be, I think, the more difficult one in terms of pace. That's a small tap once again, Pish. Backing out of it. Notice that is not his space, not his position. And we return to the fight for 14th. With Vimosar leading Bellic and Van der Meer. As you can see in the lap times in the bottom right corner of the screen, you see some information on lap 13, 14 and 15 of Bellic's race. And he's lost about 6 seconds, 5.5 seconds with that incident from the previous lap. And if we get the gaps on screen in a few seconds time, we will see that about 5 seconds ahead of him is Kuzmicik. So he would have been in that position to fight with Plutemon. And maybe go into the top 10, but for now, 15th is all he can get. Tucking into the slipstream now of the number 15 car. He's closing in ever so slightly on the run towards turn number 1. Is there going to be a defense? The defense is still there. That's Bellic on the outside. Doesn't have the overspeed, has to slow down. Does get this car alongside for turn 1. Makes it through turn 2, is ahead. That's going to be a drag race through the right-hander. Van der Meer is ready to pick up anything that goes wrong. Bellic all the way towards the outside, trying to cover up anything that Van der Meer tries to do. It's now a braking fight into the second chicane. Van der Meer trailing Vimosar. And Bellic getting his nose in, getting the space very respectively. Oh, a lot of respect being thrown around. Not respectively, that's a different word. And Vimosar still holding on to P14, and Bellic pushing him all the way to the limit. You can see how hard he is pushing. And making his opponents use every single bit and more of the racetrack. It is absolutely amazing to see. The Bellic is not done yet. There's the look. Is he going to send it before Ascari? He might just do it. He is ahead. He will take the apex, and that is P14 for Bellic. Just stayed within the track limits, and Vimosar is down to 15th, and Bellic ready to look ahead and unleash the pace of that Lamborghini. Meanwhile, Castrino still lapping the previous lap a little bit slower, but on average quicker than what Carrera is doing. The gap's now 4.5 seconds, which is quite a lot. Del Fonte 3.5 seconds behind that. They've had about 18 laps already done. It is quite close. Hubble now defending from the number 25 car. Pish not able to get on through on that straight. The gaps are increasing everywhere on the track, so I'm hoping that some drivers will go in soon. No one has just yet. 26 cars on the track and they haven't done a single stop. Expecting the next drivers to go in the next 10 minutes, or the first drivers to go in the next 10 minutes. So that's when we're approaching the halfway mark of the race. And that's when the drivers will most likely have gambled for the stop, because that is the most efficient way to do your stints. So if you aim for 1 hour and then 30 minutes, you're gonna have a lot of fuel early on, which means you can't utilize the new tires as much. And as you have low fuel, you don't have the tires to utilize the light weight of the car. But the other way around, if you start with 30 minutes, you have very little fuel with very new tires. But as soon as you get the rhythm going, you're gonna have to stop already. No one has done that, luckily. Curious to see if anyone does anything about that first idea that I had. The first hour and then 30 minutes. The pit window's open now. I forgot that had a timer. That's my bad. So they will be going in now, or right around these parts. So they have 20 minutes to go into the pits. No one is doing so, which means that we don't really have any early stoppers here either. Hubble on the inside trying to defend from Pish, which isn't really working too well. And it's now Wasner who's making another move. That's 2 positions lost. The BMW has now a Bentley over for coffee. And the Bentley getting a little bit too much energy from it. Still holds on to the position on the outside line. Hubble ready to do something around the outside of the next chicane if he gets the chance. Wasner turns in earlier and has the corner done. That's up to 19th place now for Wasner, who has done a pretty substantial recovery drive already. For the first time in a while, we can look out in front because Castrino is into the pits. He has relinquished the lead over to Caracas, who will now take it until he stops. Maybe see where he comes out in relation to Castrino. Salinas is in, and Del Fonte stays out. That's the most important one. Fry stays out. Lindblom crossing the finish line now will stay out too. Same goes for Van Rossum and Schnedberg. So Castrino, Salinas, the first 2 in, and the only ones thus far. Schnedberg has been chasing down Van Rossum on the previous lap. Has done about 6/10 quicker, which means that he should be looking for something. But he is, as it stands, not close enough. We're looking at Castrino here on the exit. Will he get out into traffic? That's going to be his stop done. So will he get a lot of traffic to slow him down on his outlap, or will he be in clean air? There's a few cars coming through. Don't know if it's going to be too much of an issue, but this is 4 positions, so these cars are allowed to defend as hard as they want. So they might just see the championship leader and think, hey, this is 4 position, I might just play around with him for fun. It's only going to be playing into the hands of Caracas and Del Fonte. They might just look at him and think, I have no beef with you, you're way too fast for me, and I'll let you go. Small problem for Caracas. He's gone wide on Ascari, invalidated his lap time, and is now about a second down on his lap. So that means that Del Fonte is closed in by about a second, and Castrino can breathe a little bit easier knowing that Caracas has indeed slowed down a tiny bit. We can see in the bottom right of your screen all low to mid 47s, and there's a 48.5, meaning that he has slowed down quite a bit. Bischoff is now fighting with Kuzmierzyk, who has lost the place, now 11th position. And the gaps are closing. Bellic has slowed down, also wide on Ascari. It's been happening quite often. It's quite a problem corner. Now that I mention it, it's happened again. Don't want to curse anyone else, so I'm going to quickly look away from Ascari. We're going to go back to the start-finish straight, of course, on our way to turn number 1. Kuzmierzyk tries to get that position back again from Bischoff. That's a big slipstream. Defensive line being held by the McLaren. The number 19 car has the outside line. Doesn't have anything to go for the left-hander and will have to slot in behind. Van der Meer, same thing, but a little bit further back. Whilst they're not able to do anything, Karosi looks to be ahead of Gorlick before hitting turn 1. And McGarry nowhere close to Dreher to do a send or to do a move. Scasserino still fighting within traffic. This is the lap where we have to see what his pace is going to be on stint number 2. If you look at the track map on the right hand side, you can see that Castorino was supposed to be around the number 1 car, the triangle on the right hand side, all the way on the right hand side. That is Caracas with Davante right behind him. You see the gap they have to Fry, who's currently in 3rd, but in net 4th position. It's absolutely wild to see the gap between these drivers. Lindblom has made a mistake in Ascari. Now has Van Rossum in his mirrors, who's fighting with Schnetberg. So there's going to be a 3-way battle again. And it's again these 3 drivers. We're just missing Mex now, who's currently in 9th. He's dropped back a little bit. But it's again these 3 drivers that are on their way towards turn 1. And it's been going well thus far. It's gone well every single time we've looked at them. Van Rossum now with the overspeed is looking towards the inside, is going to send it in. Nose alongside, very deep on the brakes. Schnetberg tries to get his nose in alongside. It's going to be a drag race towards the end. Doesn't happen for Van Rossum, had the off line. And now it's Schnetberg putting his nose in, doing a very nice job of keeping it alongside Van Rossum. Don't think he can hold on to that through that long right-hander. Maybe on the braking. No, he can't. That's the BMW sticking behind Van Rossum. Only staying in 5th. So nothing really happening. Again, they're in the same position as they were. And in tandem, they go off and back on the track after Lesmo 1. Further back, Kuzmierzyk losing a place to Bischoff. They are trading back and forth all the time. Nothing crazy happening just yet. Bit further back, Dreher has Castorino right behind him, and Castorino has gone through, so he is losing a little bit of ground compared to the guys out in front. 7/10 on the 7/10 on the previous lap, about 6.5 tenths, 7/10 on the previous lap, and Caracas now trying to make that more this lap. And they haven't gone into the pits just yet, while Castorino is making his way through the traffic. Back to turn 1 we go, with Lindblom leading Van Rossum and Schnetberg. These 3, the number 7, 8, and 16 cars have been added since the start of this race, and I cannot count how many times this has gone right, which is an absolute blessing, by the way. We don't want to see any more turmoil into turn 1. Van Rossum has gone past. Lindblom still holds on to a line. His hopes disappearing every single degree that they turn, and that is position pretty much gone if he can't send it into the next chicane. And he can't. He's going to slot behind. It's now P4 for the number 8 car. It's going to be net P5 once everyone makes their stop. So this 3-way fight breaking up a tiny bit, with Van Rossum taking the lead and getting out in 4th place. That is a good move. Now Lindblom has to defend from the next car behind. That's Schnedberg. As we are almost at the halfway point of this race. We're going to see the lead cars coming in somewhere soon-ish. As, ooh, that looked like a little bit scary from Lindblom. He's chasing down Van Rossum once again, trying to hold on to that position. Trying to maybe retake it, but it's now Schnedberg. It's getting closer and closer. It's going to be a fight here. Towards turn 1 once more. Lindblom with a different line. Hoping to retain his position. Getting the slipstream from Van Rossum. Schnedberg with the front row seat to all the action. And there's nothing happening just yet. There's a car coming out of the pits. I believe as Bischoff just getting out. That is Bischoff just getting out. He is right behind this gaggle of cars, trying to fight for the position in the top 5. Bellic and Vimozar have been at it for a while. Castorino just drops the fastest lap. Only a few tenths quicker than Caracas and Del Fante. And I hope for him that he has done enough on these out laps to retake the position, retake the lead after Caracas and Del Fante stop. They of course have this trouble of the traffic that Castorino stopped right into, which is going to be an issue. They might look to evade that a bit. By just staying out a bit longer. That's going to give him a few benefits. First of all, it's going to give him track position. That's of course going to be happy moments as Caracas just puts down the fastest lap. He might just go for a stop sometime soon. I can't lie. I don't think that's going to happen. So they want to stay out to maybe avoid the traffic a little bit longer, but also Castorino's gone in quite a few laps ago. He's been on this stint for can we actually see how long he's been on this stint? It's been quite a while. As Van Rossum goes into the pits now. I reckon it's been about 4 or 5 laps already. Which means that once Caracas and Del Fante stop, they'll have 4 or 5 laps already. There's only going to be more. Newer tires. Which means that they'll have pushed them less hard. Because they'll, as soon as they emerge from the pits, they'll have less fuel in the car compared to when Castorino went in for his pit. As everyone else behind them is now in. Stevens has gone in, Van der Meer has gone in, Vimozar has gone in, Piz, Warner, Wasner, apologies, Carosi, and McGarry have all gone into the pits. It's currently only 12 cars that haven't gone into the pits. So when Castorino got out of the pits, he's had more fuel than when Caracas and Del Fante will come out of the pits. Which means that sometimes, on certain tracks, like Barcelona, for example, where tire wear is really, really high, Kyalami, where tire wear is really, really high, the extra fuel load will start to wear your tires a little bit more. And, the lower fuel will help you to keep the tires a bit cleaner. So maybe that's something that Del Fante and Caracas will have to their advantage. As Del Fante goes in now. So we're checking, holding on our sights to this fight with Lindblom and Schnedberg. And Fry goes in alongside them. Watch this fight into turn 1. Well, Lindblom appears to go into the pits now. So that means that we are looking at Castorino. We are looking at our championship leader going through Ascari. And this is the lap that he needs. He needs to be in front of Del Fante once he gets out of the pits. It's 1 turn and a small straight, and then we find out who gets the lead of this race. It's not the complete lead just yet, because Caracas also has to stop, of course. It's going to be very close. Del Fante is driving again. But Castorino just zooms right on past, and that's Del Fante quite far behind, actually. I thought that was going to be a lot closer. It turns out that Delphante, with that stop, puts himself behind Castorino. The gap is about 7.5 seconds. So that is, of course, a very, very big gap. It's not a gap that you want to have if you're fighting for a victory. Or for a championship, even. But it all depends on what Carrera is going to do in the next few laps. He has been putting in very fast laps. Castorino now below the 47s. It's a 46.9. And that's going to be race defining, these laps. And the same goes for Carrera. He has to do something, and he is doing something. He's going to the pits. So Carrera is in for a stop. And we'll check in with Castorino as he goes past. It's going to be closer than close. Once again, through Ascari he goes. Schnedberg is still out. Pluderman is staying out. Bellic might stay out too. Let's see what he's doing. Yep, he is staying out. These three are still out on the track. And it's currently going to be Castorino and Carrera on the fight. And Carrera, with that spot in the garage, will be released now. You can see the number 3 car closing in and getting past, and that's the release. Carrera is now free to drive, free to race, and Delphante is closing in. But it looks to be Carrera will hold on to second place, and Castorino stays in the lead of the race after grabbing pole position, is back in front of his rivals, and it's only Bellic, Pluderman, and Schnedberg that can get that are currently ahead, but he will get past them as soon as they go for their stop in the next 2-3 laps. So Castorino has done enough on those laps to outdo the traffic, outrun it, and get the advantage over Delphante and over Carrera. The track temperature is decreasing ever so slightly, currently 25 degrees Celsius. Now I was wondering, why is the track temperature decreasing? It's just because the time is getting later and later. And why, Olaf, did you not notice that the time was getting later and later? Because it's currently 5:30 in the game, and when 5:30 in real life, it is already getting dark. And I did not notice that difference because ACC does not have seasons, and we still have some light out, luckily, here in the sim. We have a yellow flag for car number 23. Taking a quick look what happens here. That's McGeary, who right now has gone into the pits. He's gone out of the pits, misjudged, then jumped up. I think that might have been a small runoff. And he's just parked it, and he has gone back to the pits. So this is what we're seeing now. McGeary into the pits with Castorino putting in another fastest lap. Pluderman has gone in, and Bellic and Schnedberg will go in the next few laps, giving Castorino the lead back. It's interesting to see where Pluderman is going to come out, because he was with that fight with Van Rossum and with Lindblom. They're currently driving P9, P10 respectively, with Lindblom having some trouble right behind him. Stevens in 11th place, getting close to getting an overtake done. And Pluderman not moving just yet, so Lindblom coming on through. Kuzmirczyk in 12th place has also got some troubles in the form of Max. Currently the number 4 car in the Honda is chasing him down, doing a good job at that. Pluderman on the exit might actually catch these guys in the fight as they go on to turn number 1. He is on the exit, and there he is. A little bit further ahead they will be. Max currently side by side with the Honda. It's a Honda v Honda into turn number 1. Will they get enough space? They will leave just enough for each other, and that is clean racing, and Max getting ahead. That is a very, very good overtake, just to keep it for the next few corners, and of course for the next chicane. That's going to be the most important one. Schnedberg has gone into the pits. Bellic right behind him. don't think he's going to bet it for one more lap. Max does have a company. That's Kuzmirsik, who's gone in a little bit too deep. Who has a little tap to Max. And now Vimozar is on through. And that is Lesmo 1 position for Kuzmirsik. And Lesmo 2 solidified. And nothing that Pludeman, nothing that Kuzmirsik can do, as Vimozar is on through. Pludeman right behind is trying to join in this fight. Schneiberg and Bellic are in, so now the lead is officially relinquished to Castorino. That appears to be something of a retake going into Ascari. That's Kuzmirsik having a very good run, and before the end of Ascari, he's already through. That is absolutely amazing. That was very, very nice. Nicely done from the number 19 Honda of Kuzmirsik. Now there's 2 more cars right behind him, Pludeman and Vimozar. Pludeman having a little look, doesn't go for it. Van der Meer slowly creeping up. Max free to leave, and that is always nice to see. Bellic is in the pits, is stationary, is moving now, and might be on the exit with Wasner. And this little fight that is going on, I say little, it's quite substantial, with Kuzmirsik, Vimozar almost side by side. Van der Meer and Pludeman doing the same thing, a little bit further behind. And Vimozar holding on to the spot, but Kuzmirsik still in 11th place, holds on to it quite nicely. Van der Meer not able to get past. And Wasner overtaking Bellic before he can get out of the pits. The number 10 car down to 16th. Some more fighting here in the back. I kind of want to watch that, but this is also side-by-side action into the second chicane. That's Van der Meer, who goes in deep and takes the position, and there's all sorts of carnage going on here in the back. Number 18, number 25, we have seen some contact. There have been some accidents. See if we can catch some of this as Caracas puts in the fastest lap. This is Pish. He was fighting with the cars around him. That's Dreyer, Bischoff, Smith, I believe, and there has been some touching going on. Might be able to catch that here on the back end. That's 4 wide. Oh my! This is the same replay, I think. Trying to do the best I can to see if there's anything from this run that we can see into turn 1. That's 4 wide. There's the contact. That's 1 tap. That's another tap. That's sending them all into the wall. And that, of course, is not going to be happy times for the majority of those cars. And that's what happens when you crash on a straight. That is never, never happy times. 4 wide. One driver looking at grass and thinking, I don't want to be here. Give me my tarmac. And then moves over to the side. But there's 3 cars. You can't do anything at that point. It's just over. There's just no room. You have to back out. That's not something that is in Van der Meer's book. And goes on Vimozar on the inside. Turn 1. Gets enough space for turn 2. And that's the position for the number 9 That's not a Porsche, that's a Honda. I'm still looking at Vimozar. There it is, Van der Meer. The Honda in P12. Getting past the Porsche of Vimozar in P13. So it's up to 12th. Van der Meer having another car to look at. That's Pludeman a little bit too deep. As he rejoins. And, oh, there he is. There he's rejoining. Right behind in this fight, as Caracas drops in another fastest lap. Gains about a 10th on Castorino as they go like this. Oh, that's a small mistake from Vimozar again. Or from Vimozar this time. Pludeman was the one that made the mistake last time. And they're swapping positions. That's Pludeman up to 13th with the number 12 McLaren. Making his way to the fight up front. Stevens and Schnedberg have been fighting all the while. This is for position 8. The number 16 and the number 17 car in 8th and 9th respectively. Stevens now with the slipstream might be able to do something on Schnedberg. You can see him creep closer and closer. This is on the way to turn number 1. I don't think there's going to be anything done that Stevens holding back. And Schneiderberg holding the position, so that's not a send into turn number 1. We're gonna wait until we have to see, get to see that one. Castorino taking the victory laps now, taking it a little bit slower from the looks of it. He hasn't been really too caught up with putting fastest laps in. He has been going very fast, but it doesn't look like he's escaping Caracas. He's not losing too much time, but he's not escaping. He's currently a little bit slower than his fastest lap. Just to be expected at this point of the race. He's down a little bit on the lap time. He is seeing Caracas putting in fastest lap times left, right, and center. This time around, he's getting about 6/10. There he is. That's not Caracas. That is Caracas. Right behind him. I forgot that Caracas was driving a Ferrari in this series. So it's about 3 seconds from P1 to P2, which is close. And it still might be a change for victory. Caracas has done amazingly this season. Quickly gonna open up the notebook to see the stats, because I have written this down. As Castorino has gotten 6 wins in total. Caracas has gotten 7 wins. And Davante also 6. Most notably, all 3 of them have gotten 3 wins in the small races in the first race. And then 3, 3, and 4 for Castorino, Davante, and Caracas on the longer 40-minute race. So Castorino taking this win is going to be ultimately, you know, basically a win on both on both races. But what we have seen this season, that's the thing that I'm the most happy with seeing, is that we've seen drivers take and the first race victory and the second race victory, as Wasner here gets past Pludeman. Oh, that's Vimozar making a mistake going onto the off-road and losing another place there, as Wasner gains 2. And Pludeman on his sides. Yep, there he is, going right on through, and Vimozar down to 15th. As I was saying, we've seen drivers take, well, I can't even speak anymore. Van der Meer, now with Ascend, does get the job done here in the chicane. That's been his mortal enemy, but he's doing an amazing job to recover from the earlier mistake and getting some jobs done here. As I was saying, is that drivers sometimes take the first race and the second race victory. We've seen that from Caracas, and we've seen that from Castorino as well. Getting race 1 victory, getting put to P15, and then winning race 2 again. That's from 15. That's absolutely amazing stuff. I'm very happy to have witnessed that a few times as well, which I'm very happy with to see that. And it just goes to say how fast these guys are and how talented drivers like Castorino, Caracas, and Davante are in terms of how much they make up in those second races. It's absolutely amazing to see. Schneiderberg now on Lindblom on turn number 1. Stevens is there to maybe pick up some scraps if anything goes wrong, but it goes right. That usually doesn't turn number 1. I always thought this was going to be a lot more difficult. The 2 Hondas now back at it again. Kuzmirczyk and Van der Meer on their way to the first turn in the first chicane. And Van der Meer just leading a tiny bit. It will just be enough to hold the position. Same goes for Wasner, who has Pludeman right behind him. And same goes for Vimozar, who has Bellic behind him. So 3 cars, 3 fights going on. And this fight almost evolving into a 4-car battle for 13th. And Lindblom and Schneiderberg have been caught by Stevens. He's also making that a 3-way fight. So, in terms of lap time, we see every single lap Caracas pumping out fastest laps. What does that mean? That means that Caracas is currently within 3 seconds. Oh, that's a move to the side from Vimozar. He's just letting Bellic through. All right, that's nice. Caracas now within 3 seconds. Within 2.5 seconds, actually. Might be able to see Castorino here in front. If you look at it very closely in the distance, there he is. That's Castorino. You don't even have to look close. He is quite close. Maybe that's why he's pushing so hard. He sees his target and he knows that if I push hard enough, I should be able to catch this guy and maybe fight for the victory. He can't fight for the championship anymore, but he might be able to do this just for fun, just to take home that position. And it's still close because Delphante and Caracas are still fighting for P2 in the championship. That one's still going on quite strong. From the looks of it, that is going to be, let's see, a difference of about 50 points. A little bit less than 50 points. In favor of Caracas. And I think maybe P2 and P3 might just be that difference. So if Caracas loses this second place, he might just lose out second place in the standings. Compared to Delphante. So he needs this position. He needs that second place, but the victory would make it all the better. Here's now the three-way fight for P14. Pludeman leading Belik and Vimozar. The number 12, 10 and 15 car respectively. Doing about the lap time, 148, 147.3 and 148.6. And that 148.6 of course was Vimozar letting Belik through. So they're doing about 47.5. I mean, what Caracas is doing 46.5. The only one closest to Caracas is Delphante. Personal best on the previous lap, a 146.7. But Caracas has been doing these laps consistently. Look at that. 46.557, 46.522, 46.565. And Castorino, 46.787, 47.2, 47.250. It is crazy, because I kind of want to look at this. Oh, whoops, wrong car. That's going to be looking at this. And that's Caracas. You can't even escape Ascari. He's just always one turn behind. This is going to be very close towards the end of the race. We've got about 25 minutes remaining. And the tires of Castorino should be running out. Bit by bit by bit. And it's now on to Caracas to show what he is made of. What he has fought this entire championship for. The fact that he has got the victory in the Porsche Cup. He has got the championship there. I believe, from what I remember, he also has some more championships to his name in the past seasons. He has been an absolute maniac on the racetrack. As Belik and Pludeman swap positions, with Belik going up to P14. And Caracas now within 1.5 seconds, and it is getting closer and closer. Let's see if Belik goes for a defensive move. Pludeman is brave. He's not brave enough. And I respect it entirely. I think it's going to be a death sentence if you send it into Ascari from that distance. Very smart move there to stay behind. Wasner up ahead onto the rear of Kuzmirzik. He's lost a lot of time on the Mir. Who's now dropped about 2 seconds on this, guys. He's now chasing out Max for a top 10 finish still. It's now all on to Wasner, who's looking ahead. Looking at Kuzmirzik. Don't have the pace to get close. The Honda just a bit too quick here. As Wasner stays behind, gets close, but not close enough to do something properly. I'm seeing strange numbers pop up on my screen. They're getting weirder and weirder. Unsure what's happening. I am slightly afraid. The numbers are getting smaller. It might be a countdown, I'm not sure. But all that I'm seeing is Caracas getting dangerously close to Castorino. And the numbers that are decreasing is the delta, is the gap. And they're going down and I'm scared. It's Castorino and Caracas our top drivers in today's race, in these series, are getting closer and closer. The gap is within a second at certain points, and he can basically smell the fumes coming out of the car. And the scary part is that Carrera has the tires, but Castorino has the track position. And Monza, turn 1 for the race lead, might be the scariest thing known to man. We still have about 20 minutes left. We still have 20 minutes remaining, but it just got a whole lot more exciting as Wasner is now dropping down the order. He's sideways. That is an incident that I'm curious to see. Let's see if we can find that on the replay. Let's see what happened here. Wasner following Kuzmirzik through Ascari. That's number 2. That's number 3. It's going a little bit wide onto the sand. Whoa, just grabbed some bumps. And that is off on the track. A big shunt into the wall. And that's never good. Wasner now down in 18th place. And a quick look back out in front. We see Caracas. And that is Castorino. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting very, very close to a turn 1 fight. Second place for Caracas. Castorino in first. It is going to be a run to the line. The number 1 car will be chasing position 1. It will be carnage. It will be ruthless. It will be quick. It will be swift. He's closing in. It's a defensive move from Castorino. Pushing Caracas towards the outside. Defensive as it is. No nose being sent. Caracas knows he has more opportunities. He just has more time. He has 20 minutes to make this happen. He doesn't have to do it now. He just has to do it within the next 20 minutes. He's got about 11-12 laps remaining at the very least. But he has to do it somewhere. Some traffic in the way. And luckily they all get out of the way before they can even reach any of the corners. Caracas consistently chopping down the lap time of Castorino. Chopping down the gap. He's getting slowed down so much by Castorino. He has the pay. He has the raw speed. And there's a... I don't think there's a reality where Castorino is just going to move over and just give him the position. And I just hope that this is not going to end in a collision in turn 1. I hope that this is going to stay a fight until the end. Because even if Caracas passes, Castorino will have his position and have the slipstream, and maybe Caracas is using up his tires now. He's using it up in the slipstream, in the dirty air. And Delphante, 5 seconds behind, might be able to join in this. I have hope. Let me have something to look forward to. Three-way fight for the lead with our top 3 in the championship would be sweet in this final round. Caracas doesn't go for it again. He stays behind. He's not closer than he was last time around. There's Delphante. Only a tiny bit behind. On the last lap, gained about 4/10. He needs another 10 laps of this to be able to get this close. Maybe if he gets some slipstreams off the back markers, and if these two start battling a bit more, it might just happen. And we are hoping and praying for a three-way fight. There he is. Delphante passed 1. Second one getting out of the way now, and it's clean air for the number 2 car. It's clean all the way through. Four and a half seconds is the gap. There he is. A bit wide on the exit of Lesmo too. But it is very much possible. These two can really drive each other up and make sure that the other loses some time. Oh, that's Caracas a bit wide on Ascari. It's going to drag Delphante in a tiny bit compared to him, but not compared to Castorino. She's been giving a little bit of breathing room. Now, as you can see, the top 3 as they were. The rest have all swapped positions, but the top 3 or as they were. It's currently 5 seconds from Castorino down to Del Fonte. And after about 70 minutes of racing, it is 1.5 seconds that separates Castorino from Caracas. Live standings have just been calculated. And with 20 minutes to go. And we are currently seeing Castorino in the lead of the championship. Caracas in 2nd place. Eric Del Fonte in 3rd place. And currently Del Fonte in the standings before this race was in 2nd and Caracas in 3rd. So Caracas takes that 2nd place, needs this position in order to gain the spot. The difference in points from P1 and P2 is 40 points. From P2 to P3, what you get, the difference is 36 points. So that means that even if they switch positions, I believe that Del Fonte will remain in 3rd place, if I calculate this correctly in my head. There's no sense calculating any odds that might not happen. Caracas still within the reach of Castorino. We'll leave this fight for a moment to join in with Schnedberg and Van Rossum, fighting for 6th place. Number 8 and the number 16 car on their way towards the final 15 minutes of the race. And these guys are just as close as we saw Caracas and Castorino be just a few laps ago. And this might be a move, might be a send. Somewhere, anywhere, they can make their car move. It's most likely going to be on the back straight into turn 1. Let's have a look from the rear of Van Rossum's car. There's the slipstream. Ooh, it might actually be now already. It's into the final turn. And ooh, that's a small send. That's his nose towards the inside. That's the outside line being pushed by Van Rossum. And that's the move done. And dusted. That's past. Goes Schnedberg. But now it's Van Rossum who's gonna have the slipstream. He's being pushed, but he doesn't take it. He goes onto the inside line, retakes the position. Still has that BMW on the outside. Gives him enough space. Gets given enough space back. And Schnedberg goes for it and absolutely sends it past. Does a very, very good job of taking that position. Fight in only 4 corners. But it's a very, very good fight there. Van Rossum staying close. And he is slowing down a tiny bit. That is probably just to avoid any collisions from happening. And looking back at the front runners, it's Caracas and Castorino. They are side by side. Castorino on the inside, small tap by Caracas. Turning in where there already is a car there. Never a good plan. The McLaren and the Ferrari, the 2 giants in the industry, holding on to their hats. The cheese wedges fighting alongside. This Caracas now with the slipstream. On to turn 1. Castorino pushing him a tiny bit towards the inside. Not too much though. Caracas is statistically slightly ahead. He gets enough space, gives enough space. Castorino still there with his nose. It's a drag race through turn number 3. And then on to the right-hander. But it looks like Caracas has the inside line and will take the lead off this race away from Castorino. The tire's just a tiny bit better compared to Castorino. And Grantas Caracas takes the lead of the 90 minutes of Monza. Stays ahead, goes defensive into the chicane. Gives enough space back to Castorino, who hops the curb. Jumps all the way over it and drops back. But meanwhile, Del Fonte has caught up. All this fighting has made it possible for Del Fonte to catch back up. And it might be possible for him to take the victory as well. Del Fonte now on to Castorino. Target number 2. It will be defensive for Castorino for these final 15 minutes. These final laps will be tense. It's about 7 of them left. And I have to drive this perfectly to maybe retake the lead, but he has pressure from behind. as I believe I have a disconnect from the server. I indeed do have a disconnect from the server. We'll go back to the studio for this one. Let's see if I can get back in, because this was the tightest it has been for a while. We are back in. If you give me 1 second, I'll get back in just a moment. There we have it, back to live. Apologies for the delay. We are back with the live standings. Standings aren't correct, of course. They'll have to be updated as the drivers go on. There we have it. This is the next timing line, and it has been updated now. Apologies for the quick delay. I just lost connection to the server momentarily, but we should be back now with the live action. Nothing's happened in the meantime. No one's lost a position. No one's gained anything. It's a three-way fight here for the lead still. Carrera is driving away with it slightly. Delphante also has the better tires compared to Castorino. And it looks like we have a good fight on our hands for the lead of the race, or at least for the podium stamps. They're 15 seconds ahead of Salinas, who's holding on to P4. I don't think anyone's going to take away any positions here. And I'm thinking that just as Castorino makes a mistake on the exit of Ascari, the mistake we've seen so often, Delphante now creeping in closer and closer, distance slipstream being caught, but Castorino losing time. And a lot of the pressures once. Delphante now within a few tenths, see if he can get closer. This is the side from the number 2 Honda. On the back straight is not going to be enough to get a send into turn 1. It won't be, but it will be to get close. And you saw the slight movement of the wheel, trying to have a small look somewhere. And this is a back marker that gets in the way. That's Delphante pushing on through, having a tap and sending it in and getting the position. That's absolutely crazy. That's a back marker. It was in the way. Castorino being cautious and Delphante absolutely smashing it into the side of the McLaren. And this one might be decided on the stewards. I can't say what's going to happen with this one, but Delphante opportunistic with the back markers and Castorino with the contact, being sent back to 3rd place. Will not be happy with the move that Delphante pulled. The final minutes are upon us. Final moments of this race. And I want to say it decides the championship, but really it doesn't. It has been decided no matter who gets the points, no matter what happens. Castorino will be your champion. And he will take home the biggest trophy of all. Championship for season 20 of the LFMK Skiing Pro Series. Kuzminsik and Pludeman fighting. Pludeman off on turn 2. It's gonna grant him permission to let Kuzminsik go. It's up to 13th. 14th for Pludeman as they are fighting for this position. 23 cars currently on the track. So we have lost a few in the battle, in the fight. But we're still looking at some good battling. 7 minutes remaining of this 90-minute race. The adventure has been one to remember. The 4 wide on the straight, on their way to turn 1. The carnage that it caused. The amount of slip-ups here in Ascari. Then we almost had another one. Whoa, I mean, Kosmirzik definitely survived that one. That was not a commentator's curse. I refuse. The Castrino is falling back a little bit behind Delphante. Is he okay? Is he still driving? He is still driving. His car's a little bit banged up. Just lost a place to plot him on. Now Vimozar is getting in quite close. Hopefully his car is still drivable enough. Let's hope he doesn't have suspension damage. We can check on the onboard. And it looks to be fine. It looks like the suspension is alright. We just have to hope and pray that his car doesn't have enough aero damage to slow him down too much. Or else he's going to have difficulty fighting Vimozar. It's about a second back now. It's just about 7 seconds on that lap. Just with that small slip up at the Scari that I definitely did not cause. Don't want anyone to be mad at me after this race, but it looks like we're gonna have some fighting still towards the very, very end of the race. 6 minutes remaining, about 3 laps, 4 including this one. Which means that we're gonna get a perfect 50 laps from the looks of it. On everyone who wasn't lapped. So that's good. That's always nice to see. That's going to be all the way up to P17. That's all the way to Carosi. So Vimozar getting closer and closer now. And we are seeing some more fights a little bit further up ahead. Bellic, for example, is getting closer to Van der Meer. These have been having fights up and down the field pretty much the entire race. And there is a slipstream to be caught here. Number 10 Lamborghini chasing down the number 9 Honda. It's just not close enough yet to make a move. It is close, but not close enough. But it might be something for the next lap to look at. And Castrino is dropping back further and further. Same goes for Delphante. Caracas is on through. This is just going to solidify what the results already were. With Castrino out in front, 12,222 points. Caracas in second with 12,071 points. And Delphante in third with 11,985 points. We have our math guys in the works. And it means that, as it stands, Castrino, Caracas, Delphante will be the finishing order of the championship. And it looks like that is not going to have any changes in it for the end of the race. We're going to get the definitive results after the race, of course. We're going to look at the Porsche Cup results and the standings as well. And then we can have a look at the Pro Series. Van der Meer currently having some threat behind. Bellic very, very close. This is looking like a good fight for P11. Small defensive look from Van der Meer. Decides to go back to the line. As is allowed, of course. You're allowed to do one defensive move and then back to the racing line. If there's not a car alongside or it doesn't create any danger, you're allowed to go back. So that's not considered a second defensive move. You are allowed to do that. Bellic now, however, is very, very close. Still not close enough to do something. So he'll have to wait for a few more opportunities or a few more spots. As we have 2 more laps remaining. With Caracas crossing the line now. He will start lap number 49. And then with lap number 50, he'll end the race. Granted, he doesn't make a mistake in Ascari. And I should not have said that. Now that I said it, I realized that I shouldn't have said it. Because that is going to make things happen. And I hope that is not going to make things happen. Because I want this race to end cleanly. Van der Meer and Bellic also approaching a certain corner that I won't name. for reasons that we've seen enough of this race. Number 10 chasing down the number 9. Close in skill rating and close in speed here on the track. And luckily they made it through safely. I was holding my breath a tiny bit there. Some fighting here with the Vimozar and Humboldt, but they swap positions back and forth. Nothing really going on there. On the mirror, having trouble. He's got 2 more laps to defend from Bellic, and Bellic has 2 more laps to gain the position. This is for P11. And it looks like Van der Meer might just hold on. That being said, we have 1 more lap. It's all in the hands of Caracas. He's going to start that final lap. Leading Del Fonte and Castorina, both 3.5 seconds behind each other. And lap 50. The final lap has started. The white flag will fall. It's going to showcase to all the drivers behind that that will be their final lap. And then the checkered flag will fall after with Caracas hoping to grab that. And take away second position in the championship from Del Fonte. And Van der Meer hoping to see this checkered flag, but knows he has 1 more lap to go. And Bellic hoping to see that 1 more lap to go, and knows that his wish is a reality. The slipstream is real, and it is in the hands of Bellic. It's going to be 1 more try for these 2 drivers to make their stand. For Bellic to showcase that the number 10 car can get past. And for Van der Meer to showcase that the number 9 is victorious in this battle for P11. It's on to turn number 1. And it's going to be close. No defensive moves. And that's going to pretty much stay the same, as the exit doesn't appear to be too fantastic from Bellic. With that, we are looking ahead at Grantas Caracas, who has taken the lead of the race after turn 1 and won the 90 minutes of Monza, the final round of the Case King Pro Series here at LFM in Season 20. Del Fonte taking home 2nd place, with Castorino getting right behind them in 3rd place. But your champion, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who is watching, is going to be Amedeo Castorino. 1st place in the Pro Series. But it's not done yet, because 11th place still has to be decided. And that is Van der Meer and Bellic fighting for this 11th place. There's only 1 person that can take it. And it looks to be Van der Meer, but Bellic is not giving up. He's not giving up at all. He keeps getting closer and closer. But in the end, it might just not be enough. There's the exit. There's the exit that he needed. It's going to be very close. He's going to be ducking into the slipstream. He's weaving left, right, and center. He's weaving everywhere. I don't know if he wants to overtake or if he just wants to showcase off his car to Van der Meer. It's going to be 12th place for Bellic and 11th for Van der Meer as they cross the line on the final race of this season. And we have 1 more fight a little bit further back. These guys haven't taken the checkered flag either. This is Kuzmirsik with Humboldt and Vimozar right behind. 1 mistake can still mess it up. This is for P14. Kuzmirsik in the number 19 car has position 14 now. Humboldt in 15th, and Vimozar takes home 16th place. Happy to have finished. The final car to cross the line is Korosi. But your championship leader and championship winner is Amedeo Castorino. Here's some cars doing some donuts. Don't know if I can find the cars that are doing that. Don't think we can. All right, let's just head on to the studio to see if we can catch some of these post-race interviews with the drivers. I want to hear everything from our top three. I want to hear everything from Michael Fry if he is still here after that race in the Porsche Cup. So we do have some drivers in the waiting room. We have one very specific driver in the waiting room. We're hoping that the others will also join, so I can speak with this driver last, as is per usual. I'm hopping in the caster booth now. See what we can do. Wait a few more moments to see if the rest of the top three is also joining. Before we do that, we might actually go and quickly hop on to the results of the Porsche Cup, in case you've forgotten. We also had this race going on a little bit early on the Nürburgring. 4 laps raced with Sascha Wasner being the winner out at the German Green Hill, with Dor in second, Lenz in third. And these results, of course, have solidified the championship standings for our Porsche Cup series. After 12 rounds of fighting, this is how they stack up. Garrikas out in first, 12,520 points. Michael Fry in second place, Max Florenz in third, and Wasner with that victory just reaching short of that top three. It's just about 90 points away. I think we are ready for some interviews, because we do have a few drivers ready now to join in. I'm going to drag in Del Fonte first. Actually, I'm going to drag in... I should be dragging Del Fonte because he's third in the championship. Here we go. Eric Del Fonte, welcome to the booth.
Good evening.
How was this race?
Quite intense, I have to say, with the huge start and at the end with the difference for the strategy. It was quite intense, but overall really happy, because it was not easy, especially the Ascari for me, but I think also for Amedeo and Grantas. The cars were very sketchy, so overall really happy. I didn't do a big mistake, only some small ones, so overall I think I was the most consistent, so really happy.
Yeah, you went into this around second in the championship. Carrera got in first, so he got the championship position over you, which means you finished third overall. How are you? Are you happy with it? Were you still fighting for that second place?
Because,
we have calculations. I think we have. I can double check, but we have calculations.
I think it was like 65 points behind me, and the difference between victory and second is 40, so maybe I'm still in front, but I don't know yet.
We do have the drop rounds accounted for as well. So maybe,
yeah,
maybe I think that's gonna be the deciding factor. I hopefully I'm gonna have the results ready on broadcast after all the interviews. But from the calculations that the broadcast team has done before, as the final results, it does show you in third place of the championship.
Okay, but yeah, overall I have to say I'm happy, because for this race I couldn't do better, so it is what it is, but yeah, overall happy. It's a shame if I'm free for like 10 points. I have to say congrats to Grantas, and of course also to Amedeo. They are always very fast, so it's a pleasure to share the track with them.
Does this small extra loss on top of it, does that fire you up for next season? Trying to get ahead of them next time?
Yeah, every season I'm a bit closer, so we'll see next one if we can do the last step.
Well, let's hope for that one. So, congrats on the P2 in the race, and congrats on P3 then in the standings. Let's hope that we've miscalculated something and that you're still gonna have P2. But it would be very sad to see you lose that. But congrats on the P2, and hopefully we'll see you again next season.
Thank you so much, and have a nice evening. See you next season, next time.
All right, that was Delphante. Now we're gonna break the news to Caracas, because if Delphante doesn't know, Caracas might not know either. Caracas, welcome to the booth.
Hello.
How are we feeling after that victory?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Feels awesome. Definitely a good one to enjoy, especially in the last race of the season.
I just talked with Delphante, and apparently something happened in the standings, and you got second place.
Yeah, it's I think it's on the standings in LFM. It's counted as 2 drop rounds, but this championship has 3 drop rounds. So before this race, I was leading, and I know I need to finish P2 to guarantee myself a P2. So yeah, but obviously the win was obviously a bonus for me, and which is a very, very nice way to end the season.
Yeah, getting past Castorino, was that pure tires? Because I saw the difference in lap time when he stopped first. He started putting in very fast lap times. The gap was about 4 seconds, and then you just started consistently doing like half a second to a second faster per lap. Was it all tires, or were you actually pushing like hell to get that position?
Probably both, but I definitely did not expect for Medea to kill his tires like that, because you know it's Monza. Obviously he pitted a lot sooner than us because he had less fuel in the tank on the first stint. So I know that pace advantage could be there on the second stint, but I definitely did not expect such a big advantage. And yeah, he was also making a lot of mistakes, and I guess he didn't care as much because he had already clinched the championship. So yeah, man. Still was really nice to push and fight with him at the last few minutes of this championship.
Yeah, the fight was very enjoyable to watch. So, what's the plan for next season?
Well, no idea, to be honest. No idea how's the situation gonna be with ACC. So I guess we'll keep an eye out on the news, and yeah, we'll figure out then.
Well, let's hope we can continue this series and get you back onto it as well, because it's been a pleasure watching your race. So congrats on the victory, and hopefully we'll see you again in the next season.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, and then for the final interview, we have Castorino. Castorino, welcome. First of all, congratulations on the championship.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening.
How does that feel?
Yeah, good. Feel good about this, for sure. Good way to start the year.
So was this a race just 90 minutes of victory laps, or were you actually pushing like hell to maybe get some of that victory taste again?
Well, actually, like, the plan was just like show up and get to the championship win. Like, my training was way less than other times, but you know, I made a pole, so I was like, yeah, I mean, at this point, let's try to win. But I think like my strategy wasn't right, and also because I was with a lot less fuel on the first stint because of the dump truck at the start. And the issue is that Carrera overtook me on the start, so I wasn't able to pull away in the first like 5 laps. So I pulled away only about 4 seconds in the first stint, and I got in the traffic when I pitted, and second stint with the worst tires I lost a lot of pace. So at the end it didn't pay it off, but I mean, yeah, I'm happy anyway with a podium. Like, the main target was just winning the championship, so I wasn't even expecting to fight for the win tonight, but it was happening, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say P3 is still very, very good. You were about 13 seconds ahead of P4, so that's a clean stuff already. Yeah. How was Ascari? I've seen so many drivers go off. I think you made a mistake somewhere as well. As soon as I think Caracas and Delphante were chasing you, there was a small mistake in Ascari. How was that feel? Like how were the issues there?
Yeah, the car was very snappy at the Ascari, and also I couldn't cut the curb much because it was very unstable by cutting the curb, so I had to stay careful about it. And especially I made it also in the first stint. I had a very big bump on the Ascari when I was very close to Carrecas. I was probably lap 3 or 4. I was just 2 tenths behind him, trying to overtake him, but when you are that close, you don't see like visually that well the corner because you have a car in front of you. So I didn't saw the bump and I took it like fully, and my car jumped and I lost about 1 second and a half. So that was the tough part of the Ascari.
Well, you made it work quite well. P3 is very nice. The championship is here. What are the sights for next season?
What is what? Sorry.
What are the sights? What are you gonna? What's the plan for next season? Are you gonna be going for another championship victory?
Well, yeah, that's a good plan to have, sure. I don't know. Let's see also when next season will start. How is the my if I'm free to do it or not, but yeah, for sure I will be happy to do it and try to win it again, but let's say for now and have probably a week or two of off from racing again.
Yeah, let's take a small break, get refreshed back in, and hopefully the calendar will be to your liking, so you can get some more appearances here in the booth and in the championship as well. Congrats on the victory of the championship, and hopefully we'll see you again next season.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye.
All right, that's it for all the interviews. Should possibly have the final standings of the Pro Series here. Let's see if this is all counted. This is exactly the final standing of the... should be the final standings of the championship. It's Castorino first, Carracas in second, and Del Fonte in third place. So these are your final standings of the Case King Pro Series here on LFM for season 20. And I believe, with that being said, this is going to be the final broadcast, I believe, for all the races here on season 20. I'm very happy to be able to finish this one off on a high note. With the Pro Series, very happy to have done these series this season for a few events. Very exciting stuff with Porsche Cups and the Pro Series, and it's been new race winners, new victors, new championships everywhere on this season. I'm very happy to have been able to provide the commentary and the broadcast for you all. So thank you all so much for making this year an amazing one. Well, I say this on like the January 3rd, but I really mean the past year and also the past season for LFM has been amazing for me personally as well here on LFM. Has been really great. So thank you all so much for the support. Of course, if you want to do some racing yourself, be sure and go ahead and go to lowfuelmotorsport.com, get yourself signed up, and one day you might end up here on the standings, and maybe even in the casting booth, and maybe even on a race victory or in the championship victory, like just happened with Castorino. So you can all go to the website, sign up yourself, get some racing done. I'm going to be racing again this next season, most likely. Very happy to be doing some of that again. You won't see me here on the broadcast because I'll be sitting here, but you might see me somewhere else, somewhere in the next few seasons, who knows. So thank you all so much for watching today as well. If you want to follow more from Low Fuel Motorsport, you can on Twitch hit the follow button, and on YouTube hit the subscribe button and get notified whenever we go live again with another broadcast. It should be no longer than a few weeks before we get right into the next stuff again. You can find me, Olaf, aka Wops Racing, on wopsracing.com. You can find some more stuff of me there. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining us. I've been Olaf, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.